Awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming. I appreciate it. We should have Officer Rob on shortly. I do have a list of questions that you guys sent to me that I will be asking him when I bring him on. He's running a couple minutes behind. He got a flat tire. I saw he sent me a picture of his flat tire on the side of the road. So I totally understand why he's not here right now. But I wanted to show you guys a couple of videos because this is one of the things that I'm going to speak with him about. I've got to kill the audio on this particular video because there's music on it and I can't play the music. So let me open this bad chicken big and then let me mute the sound on it. But this is one of the questions that I'm going to be talking to Officer Rob about. Do you see the punches? That's one thing, but the knee drops to me, see that knee drop, knee drop, knee drop, knee drop. So from my perspective, that should be completely and utterly outlawed. There's no reason in the world that a cop should knee you when 3 or 4 other cops. Now, these cops were eventually charged and put in prison for what they did here, but it's not the point. The point is, do you see the cops knee dropping? That should be completely and utterly illegal in every single. So one cop is trying to bash the guy's head into the ground, and then the other cop is blasting him with knees over and over and over again. And to me, that is some of the sickest stuff I've ever seen. Put a one in the chat if knee drops should absolutely be banned. Let's watch it again. So he's punching him in the head there. Now watch the cop on the right. Watch these knee drops. This, boom, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the other side. Now he's banging his head off. 8. Oh my God. Just trying to kill this man, absolutely trying to kill him. And to me, that kind of stuff has got to stop. It absolutely has to stop. We cannot allow this. And I'm going to show a few videos here while Mr. Rob is taking his time to get his tire fixed. But I spoke to him on the phone, or I spoke to him on text message, and he said that he is just share this tab instead. There we go. Okay. So now I want you guys to watch this. This is some other things I'm going to be asking Officer Rob about. Okay.
What? Yeah, because I'm gonna go 110.
So this is another thing. Should people be arrested for speeding? Should you be arrested because you went too fast? Is that something that we should allow to happen? Or should the car just be impounded if you're doing 120 miles an hour? Is that what should happen? Hey, welcome the new member. Thank you for joining. I'm on StreamYard, so I haven't been on StreamYard in a long time, so I'm not real familiar with all the, but I saw someone join. Thank you for becoming a member. Okay, and this is happening as well all the time. And this is another question that I have for Officer Rob. Do you carry drop drugs, drop guns, drop knives? Because we'll see here.
Charlie, this is America. America is something else. So look at, you see the buddy. He's taking the drug. He's taking the drug to plant it. See. Yeah. This is so bad, man.
So he pulled the drugs. He pulled the drugs out of his pocket. So he was carrying drop drugs. How many police officers are carrying drop drugs, drop guns? How many? What percentage, you guys, would you say, Jake and Bake, what percentage of police officers are carrying drop guns, drop drugs? How many of them are actually doing that? So that's another question I have.
I'm not breaking no law.
Okay, now here's another one. Now, as you guys know, the name of this channel is Delete Lawz. And the reason it's called Delete Lawz is because we have too many laws on the books. My old friend Jeff Lloyd says it best. If there's a law on the books, there's a cop ready to enforce it. And we can see here that there's a law on the books.
Hey, I got this. Hey, don't interrupt what I've got going on. I'm cleaning the community. This is where I'm from. I clean the community.
You have a problem with us moving this?
Yeah, I do. Go about your business. Y'all got fucking 4, 5 officers in the sergeant.
No, we're gonna move this.
No, you're not.
Yes, we are.
You know what? Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead and move it. Go ahead and move it.
Okay.
I'm not doing nothing wrong. Don't get behind me.
Detain. Grab his arm.
I'm not resisting. Detain. I'm not resisting.
And for what reason is this man being arrested? It's because there's a law on the books. somewhere that he can't interfere in government operations or city operations, or they're going to charge him with disorderly conduct. He was simply cleaning up his own neighborhood. I saw Here's the Deal in here. What's up, Playboy? What? Okay. Now, this is a basic Terry stop. I know. So on Instagram, a lot of people were saying lawsuit, 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 lawsuit. Well, let me explain something to you. If you guys are watching this, there is no lawsuit here because the cops have a right to do this. They have an absolute right to do this. And that truly is the problem. This is a very basic Terry stop. Terry versus Ohio passed in 1968, decimated the Fourth Amendment. And here's exactly what it does. If the cops see a bulge in your jacket, or if I don't want to say if they see something on your pants that makes it looks like there's something in your pants.
Stop. You're being detained. Stop. Stop. Come here. I just want to talk.
You're being detained comes from Terry versus Ohio. There would be no such thing as detainment if there was no Terry versus Ohio. There would be no such thing as stopping him for having something in your clothing that makes us suspicious that you have a firearm. And so they can just stop him now based on reasonable articulable suspicion. Again, created and invented in the 1968 case of Terry versus Ohio.
Talk to you. Come here.
This is the second time.
Come here.
Walk me home. Don't touch me. I'm a minor.
Come here. No, stop.
I'm a minor. Walk me home.
Stop.
Walk me home. I'm a minor.
Stop.
I have a knife in my pocket.
Okay, put your hands behind your back.
Bro.
Is it just a knife?
Yes, bro. The pocket knife. Don't.
Stop.
I'm walking home. I have this on camera.
That's fine. I'm just patting you down.
I don't have shit, bro. The pocket knife.
Okay.
I'm walking home.
Stop.
Bro, let me go.
Okay, you're going to go in handcuffs or you can stop.
Bro,
Where's your
what?
pocket knife?
In my pocket. Where else?
Okay, stop.
I just told you.
Okay, stop. Ready? Hold on. The pocket knife's in the other one.
Walking home.
Okay, will you stop?
Boom. We just saw it. The officer took the pocket knife. They had reasonable suspicion that he was carrying an arm of some kind. You have a right to bear arms in this country, even if you're 16. So they took his knife. Okay, full stop right there. They reasonably articulately stopped him because for fear for their officer safety that he had a firearm or a knife. They found the knife. He told him where it was. He took it. That should be the end of it, right?
Will you chill out and listen to me for a
I'm
second?
just walking home.
Okay, I'm not trying to make your day worse.
what?
Stop.
What?
You're not trying to make
I'm
it.
not trying to make your day worse.
What do you want?
I'm not trying to make your day worse, but let me just have 6 cops grab you and put their hands in the crevice of every crease of your body.
I'm walking home. What?
Will you listen to me?
No, can I get my pocket knife and go home?
No, I need your name.
No, you don't. I'm walking
Okay,
home.
then you can go in handcuffs.
Bro, for what?
Stop.
What am I going to
Stop it.
for? Bro, look at this shit. I want that ring, bro.
Stop.
Hey, call my mom. Call my mom, please. 41966.
Stop it.
Stop.
Why does a 16-year-old boy, and take a look at his face. He's a little young boy. Why does a 16-year-old young man have to go in torture cuffs when you've already confiscated any weapon that he had on him? He's wearing loose shorts. Each and every cop there put their hands on his shorts to make sure that he didn't have a firearm because none of them want to get shot. I totally understand. I get it. At the same time, it shouldn't be legal for the cops to put their hands on you because they think you have a gun. You're supposed to be able to carry a gun in this country.
Dominique, bro.
Why is he going in torture cuffs?
This is the second fucking time, bro.
Stop, dude.
I'm not even going to. Oh, stop. For nothing. They just felt like harassing me, bro. This is the
Stop
second
harassing
time,
you.
bro. What happened?
We're not harassing you. It sure looks like you are, copper.
Listen. I'll
It sure
talk
looks
to
like
him.
you are.
I'll talk to him.
Second time.
Okay.
This is the second time.
We all listen together. We're all yelling right now.
Second
Just let's all listen together. He sees me. He's clutching his waist area.
I
Listen.
was holding, put my hands on my face.
Listen.
I'm walking home. It's
He's
cold.
clutching his waist area, walking away. What? Listen.
Okay.
He sees me, looks
Keep going.
multiple times to make sure I'm not following him.
Of course. He's a young black man in a black neighborhood. He sees a cop. It's only natural. When I see a predator, I keep an eye on it. Even if cops weren't predatory, which they are with proactive policing, if I walk by a tree and a bird has set up his family nest in there, when I walk by the tree, because I know there's babies in the tree, I check to make sure the bird's not going to fly over and peck me in the side of the head, right? I guess I saw Alfred Hitchcock too much. But it's not unreasonable for him to turn and take a look and see what the cops are doing. And they make it sound as though that they're They're not an invasive species in a black neighborhood.
I drive down the road and park, and he turns around and starts walking the other way, still clutching his crotch. So this is
Cold out.
Still clutching his crotch.
listen.
I'm walking
He
home.
can't.
Boys do that.
I know, but I just have to make sure that he doesn't have a gun on him.
Chicago?
Why is he being in hit? What's the reason?
Because he's not listening to me. This is the second time.
That's so for the folks watching on Instagram right now, I'm not sure how many people are watching on Instagram, but there was a lot of commentary on this video from people on Instagram, and they were saying how lawsuit. I put in the comment section, this is what our unelected Supreme Court has done to us. They have created a policy that goes against our Fourth Amendment right to be secure in our person, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches or seizures. If that young man is walking down the road with a knife or a firearm, he has a right to do it. Now, each and every state, not all states, but most states, have created caveats in your Second Amendment that you can open carry or you can conceal carry. Different states have different rules and laws, but we have a Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. This young man should have never been stopped. He should have never, ever been stopped. We don't have any rights in this. This was the same video.
Stop.
Okay, so I showed this video, and the reason why I'm showing this video is because Officer Rob, who we're going to have on here as soon as he gets back to his house, Officer Rob is ex-military. And the rules of engagement for us when we're over in the Middle East are that you cannot shoot at somebody, a foreign person in their own country. You can't shoot at them unless you're shot at first. And so in America, though, just the fact that you may have a firearm, the cops can shoot at you.
Hands, motherfucker! Stop, he's got a gun, Drop the gun! 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 He's got it in his hand! He's got it in his hand! Don't you fucking move, motherfucker! Drop the gun! He dropped.
And that's the other part. Why in the world are cops allowed to speak to us this way? It's completely crazy.
Officers.
Okay, now I showed this. I'm showing you this video because here's this chief or captain or lieutenant or major, grand poobah, whatever each and one of them have to call themselves to feel like they're authority in El Paso, Texas. And down here, this is an autistic woman who's in her own home, and she doesn't want to be put in cuffs and arrested. And so there's an outrage after people see this.
Acted within the law and policy of the El Paso Police Department. Officers acted within the law and policy of the El Paso Police Department.
So she's sitting there. They can't get her arms behind her back. I don't know why. She's a 120-pound woman. If you know how to wrestle, it's not that hard. But she won't put her arms behind her back.
That's what I expect.
And he begins to punch her in the face simply because she won't put her arms behind her back.
My officers to do.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, he's not kidding. And that was only one strike. You guys didn't see it.
Officers.
There's actually several strikes before this creator pops in and does a stitch.
Acted within the law and policy of the El Paso Police Department. That's what I expect my officers to do.
What kind of bullshit is that? Like, and this is the question I have for Officer Rob here. What kind of bullshit is that? That if someone doesn't put their arms behind their back, you get to bludgeon their head in. Bludgeon their head in. It's okay, Nick. Good to see you, man. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for coming, everybody. You guys put Team DLZ in the chat. Team DLZ. Team Mother Truck and DLZ. Put it in the chat right now. Hit that like button. Hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
They didn't.
Why do you have a gun on your hip?
Okay. Once again, here's another one. And this is in California. And here in California, they have completely and utterly neutered us where we are not allowed to have firearms in this state during the pandemic. And we can see there's a pandemic because there's people being prosecuted right now for the crap they pulled. During the pandemic, I have firearms, and I went down just to buy more bullets for my firearms. And I could not get bullets in the state of California unless I was on a state registry. Literally, unless I was on a state registry. And I wanted to sue the state over it, but multiple people are already suing the state.
Turn up. Hey, you have a gun on your hip.
I don't have a fucking gun, you
Yes,
fucking
you do.
idiot.
What is
No,
that?
I don't.
Okay,
Don't touch me.
We don't know what it is.
This guy was just recording when this cop decided to check his pockets as an intimidation tactic, but it didn't go too well for him.
No, you can fucking see what it is with your eyes, motherfucker.
No, listen, relax.
Let me
Take
go.
your hand out of your pocket.
Let me go.
Tell her, grab her.
Let me go.
No, grab it.
Let me
You know
go.
what?
What the fuck? Let me go.
So let's say that it was a firearm. In this particular case, it is not a firearm. Yeah, you're going to see a better stream on YouTube. Thank you, Maxim. We don't stop. You're going to see a better stream on YouTube than you will Facebook or Instagram. But let's say this man, they're going to disarm him. But the truth is this is not a firearm. He does not have a gun on his side. So if he did, though, let's just pretend for a moment that he did. What does it matter? Why can't he have a firearm? The states have created all of these laws that completely and utterly work against us, work against freedom. And he had a right to carry a firearm. Patrick Henry lived and died, one of our founding fathers. He lived and died to make sure that the Bill of Rights would be inserted and ratified by 1791. Our Constitution was ratified in 1788. 3 years later, Patrick Henry was still gas pedal to the floor saying, I am going to fight tooth and nail unless the Bill of Rights is ratified. And James Madison helped write them. James Madison is the one who wrote the Virginia plan that our Constitution is based on. And then the Virginia plan was intersected with the Connecticut plan. And that's how we got the U.S. Constitution, which is based on the Enlightenment thinkers, Rousseau, Locke, and Montesquieu.
Oh, I don't give you permission to see what it is. Let me go. Let me go.
Stand over here.
I'm
You can still record and stuff.
It's not a gun.
Touch me. Put it back.
Does it not
Put
look
it
like a gun?
back. Put it back.
Who cares if it's a gun? Is he shooting people? Why can't you carry a gun? It's preposterous. And by the way, this is why I'm a man without a people. Because on the left, if I say that no such thing as gun and law, they don't work together, people on the left are like, oh my God, you're crazy. If I say a woman should have a right to choose what goes in and out of her body, then the people on the right are like, oh my God, you're for killing babies. The extremism in our country is so horrible. We need a new third party.
Put it back.
Does it not look like a gun?
Fuck you. Don't touch me again, motherfucker. What's your name and badge number?
Deputy Lawz, badge number 4581. Why do you have a gun on your hip?
See, do you see why he's so confident? Because there's going to be no consequences for him no matter what happens. No matter what he does, there'll be no consequences.
Turn up. Hey, you have a gun on your hip. Yes, you do.
We got Rob in the back.
Okay.
Thanks for coming, Officer Rob. You guys, I got Officer Rob in the back. We're going to welcome him to the show in just 1 second. He's still kind of setting up back there. I see you, Rob. Thanks for coming. I'm going to play a couple more videos, Rob. If you want to, well, these are questions I'm going to ask you. I have a list of questions, Officer Rob. Thanks. Let me just add him to the stage. He can sit here and watch videos with us. There we go. And let me make it so everybody can see you. Officer Rob, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming. How are you, sir?
Hey guys, how's it going? Sorry it took me a while to get in here.
God bless that flag behind you, sir. We're all fighting for our freedom. We're all fighting for our rights.
Right on. Thank you.
So let me make an announcement first and foremost. I don't hate Officer Rob. I don't hate all police. I know that sometimes in my videos, my rhetoric gets ahead of myself and I'm like, dirty, they're all pigs. If you signed up to be a pig, you're a horrible human being. But the truth is I was in jail in 2024, wrongfully. And there were jail guards in there who looked out for me and protected me. And I have met a handful of good cops throughout my life. So just right off the bat, Officer Rob, thank you for coming and welcome. This is not, and for my crowd, I am not going to ambush him and try to beat him up on this show. Not at all. So thank you, Officer Rob. So can you give us a little bit of your background? I believe you just give me your CV in the best way that you want to, sir.
Yeah, sure. So obviously I'm a current law enforcement officer, deputy sheriff in the state of Florida. Didn't always want to go down the law enforcement route. And in fact, I used to be into street racing back in the day and had a lot of points on my license, as you can imagine. Just grew up in a different time, early 2000s. A lot of that was a popular thing back then, and never saw myself going down this road. But ultimately, I never hated the cops. Of course, I hated being around them because I was getting tickets left and right. And somehow, I got my life squared away, got myself turned around, and I actually wanted to go do fire rescue and all of that. However, with the points being on my license, it's kind of hard to insure a guy to drive the big red truck whenever, he's got 23 points on his license. So it took some time for that to get off. I did go to EMT paramedic school. Later on, I decided, I'd like to go the tactical route and become a SWAT medic. So about 2013, I made that decision, went to the police academy, and just did my absolute best I could there. And now I'm here. I'm doing my thing. I've been a tactical paramedic with my SWAT team now for 8 years. Got on the sniper team pretty early on in my SWAT career. So now I'm doing the sniper side as well.
Can I jump in for a second? What do you mean? What do you mean a medic paramedic? Because people I don't understand what that means. I thought you were former military from all your photos. Are you former military?
Nope. No military. It's all public service, all law enforcement. So I have a paramedic license in the state of Florida as well. And I am a tactical paramedic through the International Board of Specialty Certifications, same board who certifies, wildland paramedics, flight medics, critical care paramedics, community paramedics. There's specialties within paramedicine. So it's a step above an EMT. You have EMTs, which are generally basic. There are some advanced EMT levels as well in some states. Florida just recognizes EMT basic and EMTP paramedic. So it's more of an advanced life-saving practice.
So you're a police officer for paramedics, is that right?
No, sir. I am with a sheriff's office in the state of Florida, and I am also a paramedic. I have a medical director who's also he's attached to what we call our operational medical detachment, OMD.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do operate under a medical director with generally it's all tactical medicine for the team guys. However, should anything happen, say I'm on a scene of a crash, I can get out there and I can help that person. We're not going to withhold care. However, I'm also you're not going to call 911, request EMS and receive someone like me. We're generally our main focus is our team, our guys. So when we go out on a call, we have a tactical rescue vehicle, the whole 9 yards. My medical director is always there as well. Awesome dude. He's a combat surgeon from the military. A lot of amazing stories about him. Good dude.
So this is your Instagram here,
yep.
Officer Rob, and on this channel we call people who dress up like this, and please, I hope you don't take it as too big.
No, not at all. I've heard it all.
You've heard what I've said. You've seen my channel. So we call these guys G.I. Joe loser when they dress up like this. And this, from my perspective, sir, and I'd like to hear your opinion, this completely and utterly pushes the public away from police and policing. And I mean, why are you dressed up like this in a free country?
Well, let me just explain. So the rooftop picture there, that's from a training we were doing. Not a training, rather. Sorry, a demo. The photo to the right of that one, as we're looking at it, yep, that one there. That's actually a commercial for Slate Solutions. They make body armor. That's why it's not a kitted out vest. I've gotten guys say, "Oh, you're LARPing, blah blah blah. You can't do anything with that kit." And I'm like, well, first of all, there's nothing even on that kit. We have no patches on to identify us. It's a commercial. You can go onto Slate Solutions, and I'm actually in some of their other stuff. But they're awesome people. Slate Solutions, they make amazing kit. And we agree.
Now, when you say kit, what do you mean? Is that like the kit is the gun, this piece, that piece, this makes your firearm?
No. So when we refer to kit in the industry of the tactical world, I guess you'd say, we're referring to plate carriers. We're referring to helmets, just the gear we wear on our bodies. You wouldn't necessarily refer to your firearm as kit. That's just, it's just a gun. Some people get fancy, call it platform and whatever else, but it's a gun.
The problem is, Officer Rob, is that when you have this on your profile, don't tread on me.
Yeah.
But when you dress up like that, you're treading on us. You literally are the brown shirt of the government when you appear like that in front of us. Do you understand how we now? I know that was a commercial. And listen, I've done tons of stuff for USAA Insurance. I played a SWAT commander in another one. I understand what it's like to get paid to do a certain role, but the pictures I just showed is one of the biggest problems in our country. But you seem to endorse it, and I want to get your perspective on it.
Yeah, I do endorse it because, there are evil people in this world, evil people who do bad things. And that's what me and my brothers are called on to handle. And we're equipped to do so to the best of our capability. There's nothing about that kit that is a danger to anyone who is a good person. I'm not going to say, abiding by the law, because there's a lot of laws that we all don't agree with. I don't agree with necessarily.
Who are your brothers?
Guys on my team. I'm just generalizing the men on my team, the guys in my agency, those outside of my agency as well. I have a lot of good friends around the world. I compete at an international competition, which is also on my Instagram. And there's a lot of guys who I've met through that. And I just consider those guys, when I say my brothers in arms, guys who are carry the badge, protect and serve. Yeah.
If those guys are your
brothers, heard.
If those guys are your brothers, then who am I?
Yeah. I mean, so as long as you're a good human being, right? You're a good American. I'd consider you my brother as well. I have guys actually. So I found you through a guy who I consider a brother. I won't drop his name. I guess I'll drop his Instagram. He does follow you, and I guess that's how I ultimately ended up seeing your stuff. But it's Combat Arts Training. Great guy, makes some gear. He makes gear for us. We call that, again, kit. He made us some gas mask pouches. In fact, so there's a group of dudes here, some comp guys.
You said gas mask pouches. Let me jump in.
Yeah.
How often are you having a shootout? How often do you need a gas mask patch? I think you said in America, because last I checked, there was that one shootout in Northern California in 91 where these two guys came with automatic M16s and were shooting, right? The two brothers who robbed a bank. We've seen that, but I haven't seen anybody coming at the cops with, M16s, M60s. So why do you guys have to militarize when the people of America respect the rule of law far more than I want them to? Why do you need to be militarized? Do you think that I'm going to come after you with an M16 or an M60?
Probably not. I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think you would do that. However, I will say this.
Has anybody ever in the history of your life come at you with a machine? Have you ever been in a situation? I know you haven't been to war, but we've seen war on video. We've seen they embed reporters. Have you ever been in a situation where you needed that amount of military gear?
Yes, sir.
In America, really?
Yes, sir. Yeah, in my county.
The floor is yours, sir.
Would you like me to go into firearms or the gas?
Well, I want to know both. I want to know, number one, when was a situation where you needed that amount of firearms, that amount of firepower? And number two, when were you in a situation where you had to have specialty gas mask patches?
So, okay, I'll tackle the first one first. A lot of, one particular case, I'm just in honor of a fallen. I'm not going to mention that one. We had an officer get shot in the neck. He survived. A manhunt ensued. Guy runs into the woods. We ultimately end up having his location pinned down. He's still armed. He's taken up hiding positions. We had some guys. This is very dark at night, and unfortunately, we thought we would be done with this op way longer. Way sooner than we were. It drug on a good 8 hours or so. Right. And we ended up in the dark. We didn't bring our nods with us and our night vision devices, or night vision goggles, as some would recall. So he ended up getting located by a helicopter with a heat signature device on it, thermal. And some of our guys were nearby. They engaged on that suspect who wasn't surrendering himself. He was armed. Given as dark as it was, we're all kind of spread out in this wooded area. As you can imagine, a manhunt, right? It's been going on for hours. We're all kind of all over the place. We're lined up. We're with each other. We have our tactics about us and our wits about us, and we start to narrow in on this guy. As like I said, as the helicopter's kind of telling us what's going on, and they started laying down fire. We didn't know, all of us. Only those who are engaging knows who's shooting. and we're just running to the sound of the guns, you know, and the more firepower we can have to take out this bad guy, the better. Same thing in an active shooter in a school, you know, Columbine or Marjorie Douglas, any of those.
That didn't happen in Uvalde. All those guys, there were war heroes.
Uvalde. Yeah, I didn't say Uvalde.
But they didn't go in, and they had all that military gear there, and they did not go in.
Right. Big problem there, right? So who ended up going into that? What agency was that? Border Patrol?
I think it was Border Patrol, and it was actually the mother of one of the children who went in and got more kids out while there was an active shooting. Right. But so you described. I want to stay on this a little bit because you described one situation where you needed a certain amount of firepower. But here's the thing: from my perspective, and this is an interview for you, but from my perspective, you don't get to have flock cameras track us everywhere and hunt us down like we're rats. You see, if you had a helicopter over there with heat seeking, and you don't need 50 guys there. You can literally do a siege. He has to come out.
So that was a matter of, first of all, luck that actually we had a passerby see that suspect driving away from the initial incident where the first officer was shot, and kept eyes on. And then it took a while for we had to narrow down where he crashed his vehicle, went on the manhunt. That particular helicopter was actually another county's helicopter who came in hours later, and ultimately used their technology and located him. So that was just one particular incident. Another, like I said, there's another prior incident where we had a fallen, and I just don't want to bring that into this. But I know that a gunfight did in fact ensue. Magazines were completely emptied. We'll just go that route. But on the gas mask pouch side, so gas is actually, so that's what we consider a less lethal alternative to get someone to come out of a house so we're not having to go in, or a structure, or even say it is a wooded area. We'll smoke out the area to try to make things uncomfortable for them to come in. So you could think like, use the extreme, Waco, right? They put all that gas in there with apparently their intent was to drive everyone out to make things so uncomfortable that they just fall out. Ultimately, obviously, we know what happened there, and it was disgusting. But
I don't think you've answered the question, Rob.
Okay.
And like I said, man, you guys, I'm going to treat Rob with respect, and I want to get his brain picked because I want other officers to come on and not feel as though I'm just going to try to beat them up. Okay. So I'm going to disagree with him here, but I'm going to do it respectfully. So Officer Rob, when you dress up like this, yes. And I'm not naive. I know there's bad guys who are going to have to be, and before they're going to guy beat his wife, killed his kids. He's not going out without someone ending him. I understand. But the thing is when you guys present like this I mean, Rob, let me tell you, you're scary looking here, brother. You're terrifying looking here, dude. And is that your goal?
No, that's not my goal. I mean, we all want to look good, but
yeah, I saw your workout videos, bro.
I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I get that. However, I will say that the general public, they love the look. They love seeing us out there. They love seeing the good guys.
Who loves it?
Looking the part.
Who loves it?
Okay. So let me give you a quick little scenario, I guess. I joined a street crimes team. We started a street crimes team at a previous agency I was with. They didn't have a SWAT team, so I left there. But great agency, loved it. But when we switched over to having a street crimes team, we got tac vests, that kind of a kit you see, with BDUs, whereas the other officers were wearing what we call a Class B, your typical creases in your sleeves, got your patches and all of that, your shiny badge, shiny nameplate, all of the stuff. So that's your Class B. We were in the Molly kit where you see the webbing, you can hang stuff on it, all your magazines are up on your chest.
It's insane, Rob.
Yeah.
It's insane, dude.
Well, initially the thought was from admin, like, hey, we don't want to militarize it too much. It looks bad. It looks rough.
It looks bad.
The people who cared about it were the ones we were out there arresting. We're arresting their family members for running dope, running guns, running drugs, all of that. The ones who didn't mind it were the older people, the people in restaurants. We would go in and see them, and they loved it. And that was actually the ones they were more so concerned about upsetting, because that's where the money and all the taxpayer money comes from. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't want to be like upsetting that base. They didn't want to upset the community.
I really love this conversation because Rob's he's able to take not get cut off by me and keep his thought, and I'm able to kind of throw some stuff in. So I really like this conversation. But Rob, I'm going to venture out to say that the larger amount of the public is going to comply. As soon as you show me a badge, right, I'm going to comply.
Oof,
I'm not going to fight a cop. I'm not going to beat up a cop. Now, are there drunks? Are there people on meth? Are there people on ice? Are there people on crack? There are.
Yeah.
There's going to be some people that we have to beat up. I go out on the street as a filmer, and I realize there's going to be some people that I'm going to have to either fight or mace because they're going to attack me. I get that.
Yeah,
but overall, Rob, I feel like the people in general, the majority of us, and you guys can, I mean, this can be mostly my crowd, so I don't want to skew your perspective here, but the majority of my crowd, the majority of most people don't want to see you come to the door like this. You know, from my perspective, you guys should be wearing plainclothes uniforms with your number right across. Black uniform with white writing, white uniform with yellow writing, badge number right across, like Lakers, but it says 42186-B. That's how it should be. That's how you should present. And we saw with COVID that most of us are willing to comply. Over 80% of this country with some shit that we don't even know what's in it. Yeah. We have no idea.
I'm a pureblood. So
same.
I will say that having the placard, we have to have that sheriff's office, deputy sheriff, police. You have to have that placard on there for proper identification. That's why that's there. I have no problem dropping my, my badge number, which we actually don't have badge numbers or ID numbers. However, take that for what it is. I have no problem giving that out.
So
I've been doing this. I've been doing this for about 11, going on 12 years now, and I've had zero use of force complaints. So I mean, you're pro military. You're pro militarized police. You're all for it. You're like, yes, give us more gear, give us more M16s. Let us walk around the streets like this. No, not necessarily. Now, when you say M16, I think what you mean is AR-15.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of a military rifle from Vietnam or something like that.
Now, my team, we have M4s, which is
M4s. Yeah.
Yeah, we have them. However, the general law enforcement, your standard patrol officer doesn't have. Typically, there could be an agency out there who's running the full auto option, but nonetheless, they're no more lethal than a semi-automatic. I mean, when you say M4, M16, AR-15, you can give me any one of those, and I'm gonna feel perfectly comfortable going into any environment that rifle is capable.
That's not what I'm talking about, Rob. What I'm talking about is that if you had a 38 special underneath of your shirt and you were wearing a black shirt that said B2727 because that's your identification number, and you walk up and say, I'm a police officer, you're being detained, 90% of us who are not on meth or crack, we're going to do what you want, dude. 90% of us. But we see this amazing amount of violence. And so the first level of use of force is a cop standing next to you with a gun. If you walk up to me and say, how you doing, Chille? If you're carrying a gun and have a taser or a nightstick, that's the first level of use of force, right?
Well, it would be great if everyone were like you. That's not what we run into.
We'd have a free country if everybody was like me.
And that would be wonderful. That'd be great. I had a buddy of mine get into a situation where he was in a pursuit and he was being shot at while he was, pursuing this vehicle, and he didn't give up. I mean, he was, man had balls. He pursued it, and then when they got out, it was a gunfight. And I'm sorry, but a revolver 38 special ain't what you want there. And the guy survived. And here's the thing, after we've gotten in shootings and we injure someone with our firearms, whether they're dead or not, we're rendering aid. Like that's something that's not
true. That's not true. That's not true, Rob. And you jumped ahead a few questions for me. But what's up with putting people in torture cuffs after they've been shot? Because we know we're constantly in war. We've been in war since our country started. When someone gets shot, they're not really looking to pull a grenade out and kill everybody with them. We're not in the Middle East. This is not Fallujah. So what's up with you guys putting people in torture cuffs after they've been shot? Yeah. What's up with that?
So we always secure a suspect. When they're down, we always secure a suspect.
But they've been shot, Rob. They've been shot. They're bleeding.
Yeah.
So you got to put, so like, look, dude, I'm 220 pounds. You shoot me once and I say, oh my God, help me. And now you're going to run up and put me in cuffs.
Yeah. Right. But we don't know what else you have. Okay. We don't know if you have any blades on you, any other firearms, an ankle firearm.
Rob, I've been shot. Let me say it again. I've been shot, bro. I'm not reaching down for my ankle gun. I'm shot. I'm down. You guys got me. The fight's over. I lost. I got shot. Or you shot me because you thought I was somebody else. I'm on the ground.
Right.
Why isn't the first level of interaction, let's two guys grab a wrist and the third guy look for holes so we can put a patch on it, put a finger in that hole?
The very first thing we do is disarm. That's the very first thing we do is disarm the suspect. The gentleman I was explaining to you about earlier who shot the cop, we had the manhunt, blah, blah, blah. We had a gunfight, right? He goes down. I was the medic up on him, went to that individual. First thing we did was disarm him, get that out of the way, out of the picture. And then we actually went ahead and flipped him over, started rendering aid. We do secure them though. We have to.
Rob, I've been a wrestler since I was 7, bro. Okay.
Right on.
I can
Right
put
on.
my hands over the top of you, which by the way, Rob and I started off F you, no F you. I'll kick your ass. I'll kick your ass. We started off, and you look at Rob's Instagram. He's a tough guy, man. He's not a
fighter though, but I'm not a fighter.
I am. I love fighting.
Yeah, I saw one of your videos. You said you did. I think it was the video I responded to. You said you had 40 years on the mat.
Yeah,
That's
I do.
fucking awesome.
43.
I'm not that guy. I don't have 40 years on the mat. We do train. You know, we do some BJJ here and there, but I'm no expert, man. I'd get it handed to me all day long. Don't.
I'm not trying to.
In that.
I got a huge ego, and I'll toot my own horn. But here's the thing: what I'm saying is, when you walk up to a guy who's been shot, my hands are going to skiff over your body in 5 seconds. If that, 3 seconds. You're shot and on the ground and bleeding. My hands go on your face, scroll down, tap your body, grab your crotch, grab your butt, grab your ankles. Now I know you don't have anything and you're bleeding and you're on the ground and you're crying. I've been shot, man. I've been shot. How many times have we seen it? Put a 1 in the chat for my crowd. How many times have you seen it? In my perspective, Rob, this makes you a pariah, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And the back and forth Rob and I have had after we dropped our dukes and stopped telling each other to F off, we actually had he's against flock cameras. He's not for a mass surveillance system. So we had a pretty good conversation after we stopped fighting each other. But this makes you guys look absolutely terrible. And did you learn that is it because I got a lot of these in my comments when I said I'm going to talk to an officer tomorrow. Did you guys learn that from our bestest friends who are in east of the middle? You know who I'm talking about? They're chosen. Is that where you guys got this training?
No, man. No. I mean, it's general. That's just law enforcement procedure. You know, you always secure a suspect.
But Robbie, you're still missing it. Listen, I'm huge, bro. In real life, when I stand next to anybody, I'm bigger than they are, right? Mm-hmm. So if you guys grab me and there's 4 or 5 and you grab me and you guys are going to try to throw me on the ground, right? If I've been shot and I'm on the ground, I'm bleeding already. Shouldn't you render aid for me instead of putting me in? But you guys, how could you possibly render proper aid for me? And how can I render aid for myself if you have me in cuffs and I'm on the ground and I'm literally crying and bleeding?
What do we do whenever we get attacked, re-attacked, right?
Who's re-attacking you after they've been shot? Can you show me one video in the history of policing where someone actually attacked you after they were shot?
I cannot just bring up one right now. I'm sure I could find
I'm
one.
open.
I'm sure I could find one.
Show it to me. Rob, I'm going to venture on a limb here and say that I've seen more police videos than 99% of society. I've been doing this since there ever was an internet. So I've never seen a video where someone got shot and then they pulled out a knife and tried to stab the cop in the neck. I've never seen that.
You've never seen, I within the last probably 2 to 3 months, I've seen videos where an officer, in fact, it was the one I'm thinking of, it was a black officer and a black suspect. He had, I believe it was a machete, something in his hands he was coming towards the officer with. He told him, stop, stop, stop. He's doing a circle around this street. He's backing up, and the guy's continuing to get closer. He finally starts shooting him. The guy goes down. The guy gets back up and continues to advance on this guy. And this happens.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Excited delirium. You know, these guys get on things. I'm not going to get into all that, but you know what?
Get into excited delirium. That's one of my questions. What is excited delirium? Oh, let me caveat this though first.
Yes,
this is a major disagreement because you can tell me, and for the other officers who are going to watch this, we the people hate it. Is there an anomaly where someone gets shot and they pull out a knife and try to stab a cop in the neck? Could be. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen, but I'm going to say
we already know their intent. We know their intent is to do harm. You know what I mean? We know that. We know their intent was initially to kill us. So we have to secure that person.
You believe that. You believe that.
I do. 100%.
That the intent is to kill you, that all the citizens want to kill you.
No, not at all. No, I'm talking about if you're talking about someone who we had to engage
shot
in,
him.
a lethal force, yes. That
Right.
person's intent, I'm sure scenario based, dependent, but their intent was to do harm to ourselves or someone else, great bodily harm or death to someone
Sometimes
else.
they're running with a gun. They have a gun on them. They get shot. And this goes back to the 1919 Tennessee versus Garner, 1985.
Right.
Tennessee versus Garner. If you guys don't know Tennessee versus Garner, this is where the Supreme Court ruled that it's illegal to shoot a fleeing felon unless it's in the name of officer safety or community safety. So they took that caveat of Tennessee versus Garner, which Garner won the case and changed the entire Constitution, because the fleeing felon rule was in the Constitution, totally constitutional to shoot a fleeing felon. That changed in 1985, that the only way you can shoot a fleeing felon is for, number one, Terry versus Ohio officer safety, and number two, for community safety. So we see thousands of videos where cops shoot people who are running away, and for community safety, because they have a gun, they get shot, or for officers, they get shot. And then we see after you get shot, it's almost like, and I'm not trying to get crude or anything, but it's almost like sex. As soon as their things change immediately after that, as soon as you hit climax in sexual intercourse, your brain literally switches. I got to get this done. I got to get that done. It totally changes. So when a person gets shot, everything in their brain completely and utterly changes. But you guys have got this belief that we want to kill you. None worse than the Boyd shooting in New Mexico, where they shot that homeless guy up on the mountain. He had two little tiny pocket knives. And after he got shot, they put him in cuffs and he bled out and he died. So I completely and utterly disagree with this philosophy. And I think that you're going to see from your DMs on Instagram, it's just not what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to blow me up on this.
I haven't shown your, I did show your Instagram, but you guys don't harass this man.
Hey,
okay.
I got thick skin.
I know you do.
Yeah, but it's all good.
So we completely disagree. And it's something that I believe that you guys should take a look at as far as changing the policy, because one guy on each wrist, pin the guy down, and another person feels them all up and down. He doesn't have a secret knife up his wazoo that he's going to pull out. And we have to stop torture cuffing people after they've been shot. It has to come to an end.
If you have that luxury, I got into a fight with a guy, and I wasn't trying to hurt this dude. He was much smaller than me, but he was strung out on heroin. He had a warrant. I knew him. I saw him walking down the road. It was late at night, and I'm up in a very desolate area of the county I work in. And the nearest officer took, after I let them know what was going on, what I had, I was in a fight. This gentleman had, I think it was 3 blades. He had multiple knife sheaths, and we went to fighting. We hit the ground, a yard sale of all his shits all over the place, knives, families coming out because they live on the street that we're all on. And it took a very awesome cop. I got to say, he's an awesome dude. One of the best cops you could ask to have your back. And he hauled ass to me. He's a canine dude. Took him about 27 minutes to get to me running code. And he was doing about 140 on his way to me, to give you an idea of how far away my nearest help was. And he was the first one there to me. And
he was a crackhead. This guy was a crackhead.
Yeah. So, I mean, he was a druggie. I think he would have done anything. Crack, but this particular time they found heroin in the system. He climbed underneath my truck, and I was thinking, my God, what's he going to, because he kept going for his waistband. You know, he kept like digging in, trying to get rid of stuff. I think he was more or less concerned about getting caught with something on him. He didn't actually raise a knife to me or put it to me or anything like that. We just went to fighting, and all the knives went everywhere, and he kept trying to get away from me. I ended up having to like grab a hold of him and like deadlift him out from underneath the truck I had at the time. His finger slit. We ended up going to the hospital for that. And yeah, it was an ugly situation, but just to give you an idea, you don't always have backup like that. No,
I know that. I understand. And there's always going to be an anomaly situation. There's always going to be a situation you can say, well, this one right here happened, so the rest of them, like one guy told me that I could have a firearm when I'm holding I'm going to pull out a firearm and start shooting as I'm filming, which I just laughed in his face and said, show me in the history of time where that's ever happened. Could you show one? Probably. There's one somewhere, but 99.9% of us, after we've been shot, your brain chemicals change. You realize this is done. And now you just want someone to help you. And then when we know someone's been shot, the general public watches it. So then this here, Rob, so this is use of force again. And these are knee drops. So you see this, these cops are holding this guy down. Now watch the cop on the right. Knee drop 1, knee drop 2, knee drop 3. And you notice there's 2 other police officers who are holding him down. Yep. So from my crowd and my perspective, knee drops should absolutely be banned. You can't do it in the UFC. Why are you guys knee dropping people?
Was he? I'm sorry. I was kind of looking at all officers there. Was the officer at the head knee dropping as well?
Both, all of the only one who didn't is the one who's on both knees. The one on the left does. The one on the right does.
Okay.
I mean, this is insanity.
Yeah. So in that, right? So as an investigator, I look at a situation. Okay, why is this happening? What's on the other side of this? And I'm not here to make excuses for these guys. If this dude is not armed, he's not a threat to them at all. This is absolute police brutality. Okay. However, let me throw the however. If he's holding on to something, if he's holding on to a blade, if he's holding on to a gun, whatever it is, their objective is to get that out of his hands, whether it be to knock him out, whatever their means is. I don't know that scenario. Maybe you could look up the case. It's all public record after, obviously certain investigations, internal affairs, all of that. But then you can revisit that particular scenario. What happened? Is there body camera? Is there dash camera? Is there another perspective to look at? Because we really got to get to the root of it. What happened? Why is this occurring? Because these 3 officers, even if there's 2 of them who are a piece of shit, which that happens, there's one of them's probably got a good head on his shoulders. Maybe the guy in the middle. I don't know. But generally, if something like that's going on, man, a good guy's going to step up and say, hey, this is fucking stop.
All 3 of them went to prison. But Rob, what I'm saying is just like just like shooting our dogs, it should be outright banned. The idea that see Rob's listen, if you go check out his Instagram, he's strong. This guy's no joke. He trains for war. And the sad part is he's a police officer, but he's training for this guy. I watched all of his videos. He trains. I'm not going to cut the man down for training hard. But what I'm saying to you, Rob, is it should just be outright banned. So should canine dogs biting people, unless there's always the unless. Look, if you got a guy on the ground and he's got a knife and he's actively trying to stab people, all I understand, but that's not what we're seeing. And we all can see the videos. We're seeing that cops are knee dropping people because they won't comply. We're seeing that cops are releasing a canine dog because they won't comply, tasing people because they can't get their arms behind their back. Mm-hmm. And so from my perspective, all knee drops should be banned. What do you say to that? Yeah.
Short of because that's a lethal act, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you knee somebody in the side of the head or whatever. It could be lethal, but I think it depends on the matrix, right? That use of force matrix. It's a very dynamic thing, and you can't look at one particular scenario and say, hey, we're going to ban it across the board, knee-jerk reaction because of this one scenario. A knee might be all an officer has. That might be all he has to his. I'm just saying, it might be what, given a particular scenario, and you take that one strike away.
There was a guy.
They're allowed in the UFC, right?
Yeah, you can hit somebody in the knee if they're not on both of their knees. So we saw that recently.
Too strong of language saying it's lethal, but
it absolutely is lethal.
It could be. It certainly could be. I'm not arguing that. In fact, I brought it up, but maybe it's a little bit too strong to say, hey, that particular strike is lethal. I mean, a punch to the head could be lethal as well, but I can't say I necessarily agree with you there, man.
A blanket ban on knee drops.
Hey,
how about this? Every officer should have to take at least 2 years of grappling, 6 to 10 hours a week. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, if your budget and time could allow that, we would love to do that. We would absolutely love to do that.
Because then what do you think about pain compliance strikes and distraction strikes? Do you think that those are, from my perspective, I'll give you my perspective, then I'll try to shut up and let you give me a response. From my perspective, pain compliance strikes and distraction strikes, what it looks like to guys who've been in 100 fistfights is it looks like you're jumping somebody. And we think like pain compliance. Yeah, we think pain compliance strikes should absolutely be banned. What do you think?
I mean, again, it's case dependent. Look at the case you just brought up with the 3 officers on the 1 guy, and the questions I had raised. What is the reason? What is it? Because every bit of that was pain compliance, right? Pain compliance or distraction strikes. And obviously those guys were at fault. You said they all went to prison. So it must have been investigated, and they were found to be obviously abusing their authority, abusing this person. And rightfully so. They went to prison and doing the time they earned. So those strikes absolutely should be banned. However, if I'm in a fight with a guy and he's got a ton of knives on him, I didn't even strike that particular gentleman I gave you the story on. I was able to control him by controlling his hands and essentially wrestling with him. But should I need to punch him, it shouldn't be banned from me doing it.
Really?
I don't think so. If I need to punch this dude, absolutely. Yeah.
So
he would do the same to me.
Listen, I don't know about that because this man is wrongfully arrested here. You can see the wrongful arrest, and he's suing the NYPD right now, who pays out hundreds of millions of dollars a year. But why is this allowed? Why should cops be able to draw back and just punch the shit out of us? And by the way, this was the wrong man. This is completely wrong. They stomp on him here in a moment, but I'm showing you that
plainclothes.
The plainclothes officer. And they said that they had witnessed a drug deal or something like that. But then these cops go in and just start throwing haymakers. Boom. Look, he reaches all the way back to Mars there, brother.
Yeah.
You think that's right?
No, I don't. No.
So then
upon his face, what I'm looking at right now does not look like that's necessary. No. I don't see the necessity to punch that guy in the face. Again, I'm not there, but from what I see as it presents, no.
I've been in, I tell people this, people don't really see it because I'm 50 years old now. I don't fist fight people anymore, but my friends in my hometown, my friends in college, my friends through my 20s and my 30s, they know that I have fought so many people you can't even imagine. Right. And the guys who didn't throw punches at me, I just put them in a wrestling move, put them on the ground, submitted them. Guys who punched at me, I punched them back. Right. Sure. So why can't there be more of a policy that says if someone punches you, then I would understand punching back. But what we're seeing from police around the nation is cops just come in and start wailing. And they're like, oh, it's pain compliance strikes. To me, and you'll hear me say it, this is a beta male cuck, and you're punching a guy in the face, and this is how you and I met from the video I made. You're punching a guy in the face while other people are holding him. You're punching a guy in the face who just doesn't want to be put in torture cuffs, because once you're in these, and I mean, Rob's huge. You guys can't tell, but this is a big dude. He reps 315. So he's not a small guy. Put you in torture cuffs like this. I don't want to be put in torture cuffs like this. So they're just passively resisting, like, no, no, no. And the cop starts punching him in the face. Why can't it be if you throw punches, you're going to get punches thrown at you? But if no one's throwing punches, then you don't throw punches. Why can't that be the rule, Rob?
Yeah. So I think it's just the rule would be too black and white. So what we end up with is, I'm sure you've probably heard of it. You've been doing this long enough, the use of force matrix.
Yes, I've heard all about it.
That term, right? That escalation, de-escalation, and it should rise and fall appropriately, right? If a guy like you who's trained, 40 years, you could probably get a hold of me and there's nothing I'm doing to get you off of me. Like you said, you're a big guy as well. So I think mano y mano, you got the same weight class and you got the skill set to handle me. But you're not punching me, so I'm not allowed to punch you. But that might be the only damn thing I can do, because I'm not grappling with a guy. I'm not going to be able to effectively grapple with a guy like you.
But guys who know how to fight, we don't fight people, dude.
Most of the time.
I don't fight people. I tell people on the street, bro, I don't want to fight you, man. You know what I mean? People who know how to fight and are trained don't want to prove it. And a lot of tough guys email me and say to me, but the point is we should not be striking people who are not striking you. And why is that? Why is that too black and white?
Generally, yes, that's true. You shouldn't be hitting people who aren't hitting you. You shouldn't be putting your hands on people who aren't putting your hands on you. However, in law enforcement, we have to put our hands on people. When they pull away, now what do? We have to take them to the ground because they're not complying. And then it turns into we're on the ground. Are they trying to protect the, object they have on them? Gun, knife, weapon, drugs. What is it? Why are they doing this? We don't know, but we have to get them subdued. It's very hard to put even a weak person, a smaller person, in handcuffs who doesn't want to go in handcuffs. It's a very hard thing to do for one person.
Well, let's talk about.
If you've never tried it, try it.
Oh no, I totally understand. The cuffs come from the Delaware colony that was founded in 1638. They were made for slaves, and we're still using the exact same thing. So let's talk about that. Why can't there be an alternative to cuffing people with their arms behind their back?
So we do cuff people in the front often, especially if it's, say, you've heard of the Baker Act, right?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm trying to position this so the light's not weird on my face here.
I told you to get a ring light. I told you to get a ring light so I could see your face.
Got one from Amazon. It'll be here tomorrow, but yeah, this casted down light's not great.
It doesn't make you look good, and you're actually. Let me go. Keep talking, and I'll show these guys something else. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we do cuff people in the front. Things like Baker Acts. People who are just, they're not a threat to us necessarily, but they're a threat to themselves, or maybe it's a little old lady, she's getting arrested for whatever reason, DUI. We don't put everyone with their hands behind their back. Very heavy people, we'll double cuff them so they got more length there. So, it's hard for even me to put my hands together as if cuffs would, be there. It's not comfortable. I know that, especially God forbid you have shoulder injuries like a lot of us do from lifting, but or grappling or rolling, so yeah, we try not to, or someone says, hey, I got this problem. We try to accommodate that the best we can.
You don't. No, Rob.
Well, when I say we, I don't mean
you
all
don't.
Yeah. Well,
you might, Rob.
I do.
But
my
you
agency,
don't.
I feel does. The guys of my agency, I feel they do that. I feel I work with, the agency I'm with is absolutely fantastic people. And I can't say anything.
Wait, are they all? They're all fantastic, Rob. So there's no bad police officers in your agency.
Certainly there have been. Certainly there have been.
There's none. There's none now. There's zero bad cops in your police agency.
None I can think of off the top of my head. No. None who would abuse the public. Absolutely not. No, sir.
Have you ever arrested any fellow officers for violating somebody's rights?
No, sir, I haven't. Now, I will say, during COVID, I had a young officer tell someone who he pulled over that I think it was a 10 o'clock curfew or something to that nature. And I said, absolutely not. This is a free country. They're free to travel. There's not a curfew. This is
but you're a pureblood, though. So even though they told all the cops they have to go get you refused.
I would not ever. No, I mean, yeah. I refused it as far as the backs goes. Yeah. But I would never violate someone's rights. That's, I had a lot of calls during that particular time about beauticians who were doing hair out of their houses. And this particular person wanted me to go shut them down. And I said, nope, that's her business. She can do what she wants to with it. Her argument was, well, I thought you were a safety officer all the time. I said, I'm not a safety officer. I'm a law enforcement officer. That's not against the law. She's not breaking the law. I had restaurants get called on. Hey, they got a lot of people in the restaurant. They're not supposed to be open, blah, blah, blah. I went in, told the manager, hey, look, this is your business. Run your business how you see fit. I'm just going to tell you what's going on. I told him about the call I was getting. That's it.
Yeah. So
muting body cam should be jailed.
Yeah. Muting. So
you were talking about the cuffs.
Yes.
I'm a mechanical guy. I like working on cars. That's part of my Instagram as well. You can see, not part of it, but there's some stuff on there. I just had a flat tire. I got it done. We're here. We're on here. So, I'm a mechanical kind of guy. I think about things, how it can make things better. And handcuffs suck. They suck for the person wearing them. They also suck for law enforcement. They're just not they're archaic. They're cumbersome. ASP does a better job with their products. They have polymer, I want to say it's the paw. And then you have the strap that's more of a rounded metal rather than just a hard-edged metal. They make a good product, but I was trying to think of something I could create that works well.
I'm going to tell you right now. I would tell you right now, Rob. Yeah. I don't. So I have trained in multiple UFC fight camps, multiple Strike Force fight camps. I've fought a lot of guys. And the one thing that you do when you fight, even if you're fighting the police, is you go to your back and you ball up. And so now you have to take me from my strongest position, which is all my back, all my chest, my shoulders, my biceps, my triceps. I'm locked in like this. Now you got to try to get this 5'8", 220-pound dude. You got to get my arms behind my back. One of you ain't going to be able to do it. Two of you, if you know how to wrestle, might be able to do it. It's going to take 3 or 4 of you in a taser, right? Whereas if you had an open strap that could go around one wrist that pulled tight and locked, and then you could cross the wrists, you could then wrap the arms just like that, Velcro. And it's made out of a cloth material. I designed it in jail in 2024. I've never told anybody about it. I've never said it publicly. That's the design right there. You are going to have to fight me to get me to go on my belly, because I'm not going to give you my neck. If I go on my belly, I'm going to give you my neck, which 30 years of UFC, like how we met through my video, 30 years of UFC has shown us people just don't go to their belly. It's just, I'm just not doing it. Right? So my brain, even if you guys are screaming, lay on your belly, my brain won't let me flip over because I'm in fight, flight, or fawn. So I'm frozen. I'm not going to do it. So I designed an apparatus, just a round circle, just one, like a belt, and it goes through like this, and it can't get any, and then it goes around one wrist, tighten it down, and then wrap it around both wrists. And now if you put one on each wrist, you guys could separate a guy and crucify him with a crucifix position. You can't see it because the screen's too small, but there's alternate ways. I don't know why you have to put your hands behind your back. And
the
then
only issue with that would be the material, right? It could be cut. That'd be the issue with that.
Yeah, it could be, Rob.
Have you brought it to physical?
I have not yet. It's something we could do together and try to close this gap, because these metal cuffs cut people's wrists. I mean, literally, I have thousands of pictures of people's wrists. And also I'm incapacitated. Whereas if my hands are right here, I could still take my glasses off. I could still take a leak. I could still scratch my face. But the idea that you're going to put torture cuffs on me and put my arms on my back, the torture cuffs are going to cut into my wrists. It's going to dig into my bones. Your wrists hurt for days afterwards. And then
sometimes they do.
You guys put them on cop style, which is right. You know, am I wrong?
No, we generally use our finger. We'll put a finger inside the cuff to make sure there's a little bit of room there. However, I will say that just the anatomy of that being closed, it's not a perfect circle. It's more oval shaped, and the way your bone structure is going to be different on everybody. Even if you do have gap, say on the inside of your wrist, you're not going to have gap most likely on where the bones are. That's really where the pain comes in. I mean, I've worn them plenty of times in training and all of that. And I know it's damn uncomfortable. It's not a pleasant thing to be in cuffs at all.
So then you're open to changing them. You're open to a new way.
Yeah, I think, And not just, like I said, not just for the person who has to wear them, but law enforcement trying to put them on. I mean, we've all seen cops, cops have lost their cuffs. They'll put one on. Then the criminal decides, hey, I'm going to go for a fight. Now, guess what? They got that thing as a weapon. So, we actually train to hold on to it, clasp, or try to get them at the same time. ASP, again, that company, they, and I'm not trying to endorse them, but it is what it is. They have fixed hinged cuffs that you can do that with a little easier.
Then your wrist can't oscillate, so it's even more painful.
They can't, but they are a little bit longer.
And then you said something.
I don't know if they have swiveled ones as well, but they're very innovative. They're a pretty innovative company. Maybe they're working on more. I'm sure they are, but yeah, I think it's something that definitely needs a revamp for sure.
Torture cuffs, Rob, and you can take this with you. Torture cuffs are always torture. There's never a time that you put my wrist behind my back that I'm not hurt. Not a single time ever. And I've been cuffed 50 times in my lifetime. Before the camera phone. So I would ask you, let me put you in cuffs. Let me do it to you and show you what it freaking hurts. So we're open to possibly changing that. So I appreciate that. Now I interviewed an ex-cop a short time ago, and he explained to me that almost every cop who's been on the force for more than a year carries in his pocket drop drugs, drop guns, and drop knives. And so you're telling me he just dropped drugs on this guy. What I'd like to know from you is how many cops do you know that carry drop guns, drop drugs, and drop knives?
Zero.
None. So
09.
then this, I mean, let me show it to you again, just so that if you didn't see it, I'll be happy to show it to you again. This cop dropped drugs that he pulled out of his pocket and put on this man. So he's the only one?
No, absolutely not. No, that's happened. That's happened many times, and that's not near close to the worst thing cops have ever done. And I hate to say that. It sucks, and that's what makes us all look bad. I did hear a rumor years back, 6-7 years ago, probably, at a local agency, a municipal agency. There was a cop who was caught planting drugs. However, I don't know who that was, if anything came of it, if it was just a rumor. I don't know. But I personally have never seen it. Like I said, I've worked street crimes before. We don't. Yep. We don't need for guys working street crimes. We don't need to plant something that could fit the size of our pocket to get an arrest out of a car. You know what I mean? That's not.
Well, the biggest drug planter there came out of Florida, a guy named Zach Wester.
Really?
Yeah, Zach Wester planted drugs on over 6 people and put them all in prison. He's in jail now for 11 years. But
he should get a lot more than that.
So you're gonna sit here and tell me,
yeah,
with I've been in front of the camera for 6 years, but I've been a civil rights activist for 20. You're gonna sit here and tell me that not a single cop in your agency, are you a pariah that they wouldn't tell you that they have dropped drugs, dropped guns, dropped knives in their pockets? Are you the guy that, because I have been in parts of corporations, companies before, where we never told Scott anything. Scott never gets to know we're going bowling, we're going to dinner. Are you a pariah within your agency then?
No, I wouldn't think so. Not at all.
No, you look like you got a bunch of bros in the policing world.
Yeah. I got a lot of buddies. I don't have any enemies. Yeah, no enemies in my agency. No enemies in the law enforcement community. Well, obviously, and in a world of this many egos, there's a lot of guys who maybe not like the next guy to them, but. I got to say, man, I've never known a cop to plant drugs, and there's a lot of cops out there I probably don't like, guys who I've worked with in the past, and like that guy gives me a bad feeling, whatever. But I've never known anybody to plant drugs. No,
so so just so you know, Rob, most of the people who I talk to on DM are cops or ex-cops. I spend probably a good 10-20% of my day talking to cops or ex-cops, and they tell me the opposite of what you're telling me now.
Well, I don't know where they're at. Not in my experience.
What's the name of your agency over there?
I don't want to represent them. However, I'm very easy to find. You can do like reverse image, whatever. Guys have found me. It's no big deal.
If Chevy was here, he could find it for me. You don't have to. You don't have to.
It's quick. It's quick. One of your comments. I don't see them. I got it on full screen, but one of the guys in the comments will probably pop up real quick where I'm at. I just personally don't want. Don't. I'm not representing my agency. I'm representing myself and
yes,
my career.
Yes, listen. I know that we're on opposite sides, but I don't want to in any way try to degrade you or your life, even if I vehemently disagree with some of the things that you said. And I think that either A, no one's telling you, or B, you're blissfully ignorant. And I'm not trying to insult you by saying, you just don't know, because you don't know the cops who are carrying drop guns, drop knives, drop drugs in your department. That's blissful. Listen, I wish I was blissfully ignorant. I wish I was walking around believing that everybody had my best interest and nobody really wants to beat me up. But you know as well as I do that that's not true. And just like I know that there's some people who do want to fight cops. It's a very small percentage, but I do know there's some people who are not going to leave this earth without one or the other. So, okay, cool. So now this brings me to my next thing here. The term law enforcement, it means that you get to apply any law you want to anybody you want. And that's what this is. This man is cleaning up his neighborhood. I'm trying to find the, here it is.
Go about your business. Y'all got fucking 4-5 officers in the sergeant.
No, we're going to move this.
No, you're not. Yes, you know what? Go ahead. Go ahead and move it. Go ahead and move it.
So, Rob, a little background. He was just picking up the trash in his neighborhood.
Okay. I'm not doing nothing wrong. Don't get behind me.
Detained. If there's a law on the books, there's a cop ready to enforce it. The term law enforcement has ruined a free society. You guys should abolish the name. It should be peace officers, rights protectors with a great big identification serial number on your chest so that we can easily say that was B2742 who did that, right? But the idea of law enforcing upon us ends up looking just like this, where they're detain a man for cleaning up his neighborhood. And
why are they there to begin with?
I have no idea why they're there. They got a call. I don't know.
But I will say on that type of issue, I have seen a guy who goes around and does like lawn mowing, and there's a house where the property was way overgrown. They were trying to do, I believe what that is like the city wants to take that property from the owner and say, hey, what they do is they'll fine you $250 a day until you can't pay for it, and then they just take the property, own it. So this guy went and cleaned up that yard, probably taking it within compliance of city ordinance, and they kicked him off from mowing that grass, which there's no way I would enforce that.
Right.
There's no way. That's not a law. And to say law enforcement, we can enforce any law. That's not necessarily true. We can't act on every law. And at least state of Florida, I'll tell you, there's misdemeanor exceptions. There are some things that we do not necessarily have to. There's discretionary, but certain things have to fall in place.
So then you can tell the crowd who's watching, every arrest besides kidnapping children, almost every single misdemeanor arrest is 100% discretional because of the 2001 case of Atwater versus City of Lago Vista. Is that true?
I don't know the case law there, but take things like battery, for instance, simple battery. You get into a fight with your neighbor, right? Now that's a situation where it didn't occur in the officer's presence. He shows up. He says, all right, write you a summons. You guys go to court, handle it that way. It doesn't have to be an arrest. But you get a domestic violence situation where the same situation, husband hits wife, wife hits husband. Now we have a domestic on our hands. We have to take them on that circumstance of being domestic versus just two guys got into a fist fight, what have you. We found who the primary aggressor is. That person could, be charged, but not taken to jail.
So you're saying that if you get a call for a domestic and you show up and there's no marks on her, there's no damage, but she says he pushed me, then you have to take him to jail?
Yes and no. And I'll explain. So the state of Florida does say shall make an arrest where the primary aggressor can be determined. So in that situation, what I have done in the past, what other officers have done in the past, we look at it as the reasonableness. Obviously, his story is going to be different than hers. We have separated them for the night, and they can move forward with their affairs at a later date.
When you say you separated them for the night, did you take them? You take them to jail when you separate them?
No. Hey man, you got a family or friend you can stay with for the night? Keep you guys away from each other, because we come back here, something bad's going to happen. Generally, domestic violence escalates, right?
Does it though?
Yeah, often. Yeah, oftentimes. Yeah. If nothing happens, if the police come and these two continue to fight and argue, domestic violence calls generally escalate into actual physical violence. Yes, that does happen.
So you're telling me,
and which is why it says shall make the arrest if the primary aggressor can be determined.
So you're telling me that if you get a call and you show up and the girl says he pushed me, and you look at her, there's no marks. She says he grabbed me, and you say, where'd he grab you? And she said, oh, he grabbed my wrist, but there's no bruising. Now you think that's going to escalate to something more serious later? Is this your experience in the world that you have that I don't know about?
No. Yeah. If we leave those two together, then yes, it is most likely going to result in a worse outcome because they're going to continue to fight. And now they feel like law enforcement doesn't have any teeth in the matter. So maybe he does grab her. Maybe he throws her to the ground. Maybe. What could shake out,
We're roughly the same age, and I believe that a lot of these laws were created from the O.J. Simpson killing his wife. Because after O.J. killed his wife and it came out that she had called the cops 20 times on him, he was a legitimate spousal abuser, right? Then they created all these laws where the guy has to go to jail. But when you arrest someone for domestic, they lose their gun, they lose their Second Amendment right for life often. So
the primary aggressor goes to jail. I've arrested plenty of women who've called 911, in fact, and then gave me one story, and turns out to be not the case.
But Rob,
a lot of times that's happened.
Don't we see though that even when you arrest the man or the woman, they just end up getting back together anyway?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they drop the charges. Most cases, almost, I would say more than 9 out of 10. More than 9 out of 10. They drop the charges. They call the state attorney's office and say, hey, I don't want to pursue this case anymore. I'm no longer a cooperative victim. That's it. And then honestly, the state can, in the state of Florida at least, can file those charges and continue the case and charges. However, that very rarely happens. It would have to be an extreme case to see that happen, where it's continued abuse. So I have not seen that happen yet.
So I wrote a solution for this in the governor's handbook. I haven't published it yet, but I haven't finished the book yet. But the solution that I wrote is, we saw during the pandemic that they created buses. They had buses where you could go to this bus. It was a full-on medical app. So I designed a bus that is a detainment bus, where when you go to someone's house and maybe there are marks on them, maybe there's actual scrape on the arm and, whatever. The idea that I have is that you take the man or the woman and you bring them out to the bus, which is really a kind of a glorified RV. And you say, hey, look, I got to separate you guys for the night. You don't got to go to your cousins. You got to stay in the bus until tomorrow morning. Then we'll walk you over and see if you guys can be amicable. But then you're not getting core civic and geo group for-profit prisons involved. You're not getting the DA involved, and you're just separating two people for the night.
Man, can you imagine the logistic nightmare that would result in? An RV for every domestic, a generator for every RV. Ultimately, that person's still free to, I don't know where you're going to park this RV at. I don't know how that works. But
right outside the front of the house.
I mean, I understand you want it. Yeah, that's probably not a good idea. Yeah, when we say like go somewhere, we mean, yeah, I get you. So yeah, I don't see that as a realistic outcome. But that'd be great. It'd be great. But it'd be great if people didn't beat on their spouses. But.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So I want to come back to this because I screen recorded a bunch of videos to show you. Now, this is a Terry stop.
Stop. You're being detained. Stop. Stop. Come here. I just want to talk to you. Come here.
This is the second time.
Come here.
Walk me home. Don't touch me. I'm a minor.
Come here. No, stop.
I'm a minor. Walk me home.
Stop.
Walk me home. I'm a minor.
Stop.
I have a knife in my pocket.
Okay, put your hands behind your back.
Bro.
Is it just a knife?
Yes, bro. The fucking knife. Don't.
Stop.
I'm walking home. I have this on camera.
That's fine. I'm just patting you down.
I don't have shit, bro. I'm walking home.
Stop.
Bro, let me go.
Okay, you're gonna go in handcuffs or you can stop.
Bro,
where's your pocket knife?
In my pocket. Where else?
Okay, stop.
I just told you.
Okay, so Rob, they're going to disarm him right here.
Bro, I'm just walking home.
Okay, will you chill out and listen to me for a second?
I'm just walking home.
They took the
I'm
knife.
not trying to make your day worse. Stop.
What?
I'm not trying to make your day worse.
He's standing there, Rob. They took his knife away. He's still standing there. He's black, and black guys are typically faster than us. It's just, you can look at the NFL.
I'm walking home. What?
Will you listen to me?
No, can I get my pocket knife and go home?
No, I need your name.
No, you don't. I'm walking home.
Okay, then you can go in handcuffs.
Boom. That's it. This in a microcosm to me is the reason why my channel is based on overturning Terry versus Ohio. What gives the cops the right to do this to this man?
So given that situation, I would say that what it is he has a warrant for his arrest, most likely.
He doesn't. He has. So I'll give you the background. They saw him walking. He had his hands down his pants. Let me finish playing it because I don't want to.
The description of someone who does.
I'll finish it for you, sir.
Stop.
What am I going to
Stop it.
Bro, look at this shit. I want that ring.
Stop.
Hey, call my mom. Call my mom, please. 419-66.
Stop it.
Dominique, bro. This is
Stop.
Dominique, bro. This is the second fucking time, bro.
Stop, dude.
I'm not even doing shit, bro.
Stop.
For nothing. They just feel like harassing me, bro. This is the second time, bro.
I'm not harassing you.
Listen. I'll talk to him.
He's going to explain here.
Okay.
This is the second time.
We all listen together. We're all yelling right now. Just let's all listen together. He sees me. He's clutching his waist area.
I was putting my hands on my face.
Listen.
I'm walking home. It's
He's
cold.
clutching his waist area, walking away. What? Listen.
Okay.
He sees me, looks
Keep going.
multiple times to make sure I'm not following him. I drive down the road and park, and he turns around and starts walking the other way, still clutching his crotch. So this is
It's cold outside.
Listen,
I'm walking
he
home.
can't.
Boys do that.
I know, but I just have to make sure that he doesn't have a gun on
Is this
him.
Chicago? Why is he being in hit? What's the reason?
Because he's not listening to me.
This is the second time.
So Rob, he stopped him because he said he was suspicious that he had some sort of arm. We have a Second Amendment right to bear arms to protect ourselves, whether that's a knife, a stick, a billy club, a taser, a gun. Why? So I just want to get your perspective on this Terry versus Ohio that allows cops to stop us based on their reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime. And then they abused it here after they disarmed him. Then they put him in torture cuffs. And this is happening thousands of times a day. Terry versus Ohio has decimated the black community, where cops can just go into the black community, splash it with hundreds of cops, and then just stop everybody on the street because they're suspicious of them. And I want to get your take on Terry versus Ohio, the reasonable articulable suspicion, the officer safety part, the patting you down part, and the detainment part. Tell me your overall perspective on Terry versus Ohio, and if you think it's constitutional or not.
Man, I think it is. It has its place. I think it does have its place. However, I will say that particular scenario, the cop was absolutely in the wrong. There's not anyone who I would ever do that to. Obviously, he looks like he could be of age. You don't even, if this guy doesn't even know how old he is, say it's a juvenile, he thinks he has a gun. You don't know that. You don't know how old this guy is. There's no reason to think he has a gun just because he grabs his crotch. Short of you actually physically seeing a firearm, and even if you do, I don't know what state this is in the state of Florida, you have the right to carry. In fact, you can carry concealed or outside the waistband, doesn't matter. Even if you did see it, he's not presenting it in any sort of threatening manner. Nothing you can do about that. Because obviously we're talking about just a momentary, you saw the firearm, someone bends down in the grocery store, they see their firearm. That's not illegal. You're not trying to use your firearm in an intimidating manner. So absolutely, the cop's in the wrong there. He abused the power that he had. I did hear the kid say this is the second time. Obviously, other cops are right there. So I'm assuming this is probably a small town. They're likely right on top of one another. Maybe they're doing proactive patrol. I don't know what's going on. Or was this guy looking like someone who had a warrant for their arrest, which I think you dispelled that. In the video, he says clearly, I thought I saw a gun. Well, even if you did, okay, so what?
Let's go one step at a time.
Other criteria. Yep.
Officer Rob, one step at a time here. So there's 4 parts of Terry versus Ohio. The first part is officer safety over all of our rights. That our rights can be suspended, literally, if a cop has fear for his safety. What do you think about officer safety over our rights?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. That's a scenario based. Could you give me a scenario?
Sure. They get a call that there's a guy out in the parking lot and he's walking around with the camera. Cops walk up to me. Mm-hmm. I literally am bigger than most people. So they walk up to me and they say, "Hey sir, what are you doing?" And I just look at them and right.
It's a camera. It's a camera. Don't even talk to you.
Right. Because, and this is the reason why I was excited to speak with you, because he does have some views that outside of some of these views he said here, he has some views that I agree with. So the idea though of officer safety is that once they approach me, then if they have any fear of me, they can pat me down and detain me. So do you think that that's right? Do you think that's constitutional, that your safety goes above my rights?
No, I mean, in the scenario you gave, obviously we see you're holding your phone. There's no other reason to think you're a threat to anyone. Whatever this area is, I'm assuming you're in public area. This isn't a private area where someone's asking you to leave or they want you trespassed. There's no reason for law enforcement to make any form of contact with you. And short of saying, "Hey man, how you doing?" and you say "fuck off" and us just leaving, that's our only right option to do is, all right, cool.
But you have the right to sit there and watch me. You got a call. The cop can. We see too many police officers in the video after video after video. They walk up to someone and they say, "Oh, we got a call." So why are you approaching that person if you got a call? Just sit there and watch them. Do your job. Just sit there. And because if you sit there and watch me long enough, you'll realize I'm just filming in this parking lot, walking around filming, right? But we got a call now equates to, and this cop put him in cuffs when he wouldn't give him his name. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing that thousands and thousands of times every single day. My channel is based on OTVO, overturning Terry versus Ohio, because officer safety shouldn't trump our rights. There's no such thing as reasonable articulable suspicion. It was invented by a white supremacist Supreme Court. There's no such thing as patting me down legally unless there's probable cause. There's no such thing about putting me in cuffs because you're arresting me, you're seizing me, even if you're going to change the name to detained. And I'll let you try to respond to those few things right there.
I mean, again, it's case by case basis. To throw a general rule at something to totally change it. You know, officers do have to put our safety above someone's rights often. We have to take people's rights away when we arrest them. That's what we were doing. And often, you know, if I have to engage in someone in a lethal manner or whatever, I have to use that use of force matrix and take someone physically. I'm taking their rights away. I'm taking their rights to, you know, freedom. I'm going to detain them. We're going to jail, whatever it may be, or at least until I can continue to conduct my investigation until it's over with. Assuming that investigation is a rightful and legal investigation, which the previous scenario of you filming is not one, right? There is no investigation there short of going, okay, he's not doing anything to harm anyone. No one's asking him to leave. It's not on that's not on private property. But there are certain circumstances where someone's safety does trump your rights.
Well, do you believe that people shouldn't be grabbed unless there's probable cause?
I think reasonable. No, there's reasonable suspicion cases as well. Reasonable suspicion
like what?
cases. So, for instance, okay, so we played back that the young man there with the knife. Had he had a warrant for his arrest, right, and that's what the officer was stopping him for, which is what I believed he was doing, because that's what seems reasonable. I've had to do that. The case I gave you earlier, where I got into a fight with the guy and I had my nearest backup was 25, 30 minutes away. I knew he had a warrant. The last I knew of his ID being ran, he had an active warrant. So I stopped him, and then I verified that warrant. You see what I mean? So that particular circumstance, had this young man had a warrant for his arrest, or he matched the description of someone who they needed to rule him out as had a warrant, then that's why they stop him. But as soon as you've dispelled that, if this young man say, hey, he doesn't have the warrant, we got the wrong guy, you let him go, you're done. There's no more further investigation. See you on your way. Can I give you a ride home? That's what should take place.
So what you're witnessing here is an unlawful Terry stop. Would that be a correct assessment?
I would say so, yeah.
Because just so people if they don't really understand Terry versus Ohio, if the police suspect that you have a weapon, even though you're supposed to have a right to have it, they can legally walk up to you and detain you.
Well, he did say he's a juvenile, but I don't think you could see that in him from the outside, see that he's not an 18-year-old. I don't know.
Yeah. It's just arrest upon probable cause is what I'm trying to get to. Yeah. And probable cause is when you have broken a law. Absolutely. Walking around with your hands down your pants or having something in your pocket is not you breaking the law. That's a hunch, which is what Terry's. Go ahead,
No. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I don't mind getting interrupted. I like the back and forth.
I guess. Yeah, so it's reasonable suspicion that leads us into investigating the probable cause.
And you saw what Memphis Rain put here. If Terry stop isn't a formal arrest, why do people treat it like one by immediately putting people in cuffs, which is what they did to this kid because he wouldn't tell them their name?
Well, he said he had a knife on him. So, I mean, given that particular scenario, they detained him and then they disarmed him.
No, they disarmed him. They disarmed him, then detained him.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
he says he thought he had a gun. We got to give them that. He says he thought he had a gun. We're looking further. I don't know how far they went into this pat down situation here, if they actually ended up searching him. But
once they
I don't have shit, but
so once they realize right here, you can see the cops take the knife away.
Stop! Come here. I just want to talk to you.
Which, by the way, in the black community, I just want to talk to you. Hey, come here. This incenses the black community when you're just stopping a kid because he's got something in his pocket. And then he admits I got a knife, which, by the way, he may need a knife to defend himself. But let me just do it again with you.
Come here.
Yeah.
This is the second time.
Come here.
Walk me home.
This is the second time, Officer Rob.
Yeah. Why is that? Right?
Come here. No, stop.
I'm a minor. Walk me home.
Stop.
Walk me home. I'm a minor.
Stop.
I have a knife in my pocket.
Okay, put your hands behind your back.
Bro.
Is it just
Why?
Okay.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so he's actively putting handcuffs on while he says, "Hey, I got a knife on me." Well, he says he thought he saw a gun, so he's obviously his intent is to look for a gun. Even though I do not agree with that, just because you think you saw something doesn't mean you did. You need to know you saw something, right?
Yeah, I mean, there has to be, and I'll give you my opinion. There has to be probable cause. There has to be a crime is being committed or has been committed, not about to be committed. That's Terry, which is future prediction of any cop who. What'd you do before you were a cop? What was your line of work?
Paramedic.
So you were a paramedic. Okay. So
and a mechanic. I did mechanic work if you want to get blue collar with it.
So neither one of those are psychic work.
No. Yeah.
Right. So you can't determine that I'm about to commit a crime just because I'm outside of a 7-Eleven at 2:00 in the morning with my car running. You know?
Well, I mean, we've all seen suspicious people.
Right? Yeah, dude, there's bad people in the world. What I'm saying is no cop should be able to interact with another human being unless there's probable cause, not reasonable articulable suspicion. That's what I'm trying to see where your head is on it.
Yeah. His threshold for reasonable suspicion is not mine.
Right.
But there are times that I've had to stop people for reasonable suspicion as well.
Couple of rapid fire questions for you here. America first or Israel first?
America first.
Do you know the first 5 freedoms of the First Amendment?
Let me just elaborate on that one a little bit for you. I used to think that Israel would be the only other country I would be willing to go and die for. As of recent and seeing what's going on and over the last year, yeah, damn sure wouldn't do that anymore.
Why was that originally your perspective?
Christian faith, believing that Israel was God's land. As the Old Testament states, that nations will rise up against Israel. Those who curse Israel will be cursed. Those who bless Israel will be blessed. So I've always felt that Israel had this, the land, had this holy place and was worthy of being saved and fought and died for. However, obviously the government of Israel is not the same. So I no longer feel that way about fighting for the Israeli government. We'll say that.
Yeah, you're talking to a former Catholic altar boy for 3 years. I've read the Bible. I've read the Bible from cover to cover twice. So like I read it when I was a kid, then I read it when I was 21. Yeah. I didn't really get a good reading as a kid, 13, 14, 15. I didn't, but 21 years old, I read it from front to back, took me 4 months, right?
It's 2 more times than I've done it.
I read the whole thing.
I've never read it.
It made me a diehard atheist for 20 years.
I've read Revelation. Where are you at now? Are you an atheist now?
No, I believe in God all the way. Because I took a trip with the D and the letter M and the letter T, and I actually met what I was suggested in my brain was a supreme being, and I left that meeting understanding that God, Muhammad, Buddha, in my perspective, is just a path to enlightenment to try to help people. Are the books flawed, written by humans? I think that they are, but that doesn't mean that Jesus is fake or Muhammad is fake or Buddha is fake. I don't think those are necessarily fake. I think that some of it is human created. But so then I asked you, do you believe that qualified immunity should exist?
I believe so because of the circumstances that officers find ourselves in, and we have to make calls as they're happening live time. So
shouldn't police? Sorry.
I believe there's a certain grace you have to afford police officers who are dealing with something in the here and the now that is a life or death or a high adrenaline filled situation. And we're not robots. We're not machines. We think, we feel, we act in under the same sympathetic systems as everyone else does. Sympathetic nervous system, that is. So I would like to just say, think of it like a NFL referee, right? He has to make the call in the here and the now, but then what do? They go to the tape and they slow it down. They zoom in, they get the drone footage. They're narrowing it down to the blade of grass because that's what it comes down to, right? Where's the paint? Where's not the paint? what did that referee see? And he's looking at it as it's happening, full speed. So that's what cops experience. Got people go back to the body camera, and you're not there with it while it's happening. So I think qualified immunity does protect law enforcement from those type of scenarios.
Could a possible solution be for police officers to get insurance, where they go through an insurance company and they have to pay $17 a month or $27 a month, whatever it is, and then with enough complaints, with enough rights being violated, then they would be uninsurable? Because the truth is, and I put it on my videos, just a few bad apples, but it is ironically, even though I think the policies, procedure, and protocols make the majority of police bad, but the truth is, if you study it, there is a group of cops who continually violate people's rights over and over and over. Most of the time we see, like that cop in Mississippi who shot that 1-year-old baby, he's been to 10 agencies in 12 years. So wouldn't a solution be, he shot a baby. He shot a baby.
We talked about that before you posted. I saw your post on it, but that's another situation. We got to see all the details on that. It's very, very disgusting.
Well, the community members stormed the mayor's meeting and said, we demand the body camera footage be released. And they were so appropriate. These group of black people were so appropriate. You should have seen, one guy started freaking out. They grabbed him and moved him out of the room and said, you can't do this. We're trying to have a cordial conversation. And they gave a list of demands. But back to the question, instead of qualified immunity, isn't a solution simply to have cops get insurance, and then that cop who's been to 10 agencies, because of the resignation loophole, you know that. If I come to Florida and you decide you want to beat me up, I'm not going to fight you, dude. You're just going to beat me up. Then I file a complaint against you. Before the complaint is seen through by IA, you resign, you keep your pension, you keep your peace officer's license.
Sure.
So wouldn't a solution to that just to be to get police insurance instead of qualified immunity?
I mean, there are guys who go through like PBA, the Fraternal Order of Police, all those, and they have legal counsel through that. It's not insurance, but like I had Legal Shield for a while because I thought that'd be good to have, and it was for more personal use, legal service. That was just a benefit we could sign up for. That was years ago. I got rid of it because it was just a waste of money. But
I did too. I spent $600 over 2 years on that.
No, I mean, we're at the end of the day, I mean, you're working for a government, whether it be, state, local, or federal, and qualified immunity has its place. But bad cops will face prison, as those three you presented earlier have. So no, I'm not going to say I think qualified immunity should go away. I don't believe that. I believe it has its place for us.
Okay, I got your perspective on it. How much constitutional training do you get before you become a police officer?
I would say actually coming out of the police academy, there's quite a bit. All your case law, the important ones like you had mentioned earlier, Tennessee versus Gardner, Carroll Doctrine, a lot of those famous cases that are out. Obviously, the Miranda, was it the Arizona?
1966.
Yeah. So a lot of that, it's not that in depth. It should be. I think it should be a little bit more driven home, because what it is, we tend to, just like everything, even in paramedic school, you learn a subject, you take your test on it, you forget all of that. You're moving on to the next subject. You're taking that test. You're moving on, because as the program goes. But we do in-service training at my agency, and legal is obviously part of that.
Well, let me test you on that then. I have two different amendments to ask you about. Do you know the 5 freedoms of the First Amendment? And I hate to, well, it's a gotcha question. I'm just being honest. It's a gotcha question. And the reason it is because all the cops watching this, if you don't know the first 5, go ahead. What are they?
Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of expression, freedom of the press. Oh man, what's the last? But I'm not a constitutional guru. I will say that. What's the last one?
You actually missed one. So you got freedom of religion. Freedom. What was the other one you said?
Speech.
Freedom
of the press. Freedom of the press.
You got those 3.
And what was I said 4th?
Assembly.
Yes.
And petition. Assembly and petition.
So I did not get those 2.
But you can remember it by saying the term RAPS. RAPPS. Religion, assembly, petition, press, speech.
See, I like that. that's the kind of stuff, those kind of acronyms. Like I'm an acronym guy. March algorithm, all of that in tactical medicine. Like algorithms help, man. Or those mnemonics.
There should never be a police officer that comes on an interview with me that doesn't know the first 5 freedoms of the First Amendment. And then that brings me to the second question.
I will say I know not to violate those things.
Not allow people to assemble?
Correct. You should not violate those things. Right.
Speech, press, religion.
Like we talked about with COVID. Those restaurants had a right to stay open. That lady who's cutting hair at her house to keep money coming to her through her business, she has a right to assemble. She has a right. The gentleman in the traffic stop, a curfew. No, this is the United States of America. They have a right to be out here and freely travel. So anyway.
Then do you know the Fourth Amendment?
Yeah, I do.
It's okay. I'm being honest. These are gotcha questions.
No,
these are
no,
gotcha. They are. They are gotcha because you have to know them or we gotcha. And so I don't want
to.
But get it from the beginning. The Fourth Amendment is the right of the people to be secure.
And their effects,
person,
their homes, their person, their home. Man, yeah. I don't have the
person, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures, and no warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation. So now Terry versus Ohio dramatically changes that. So no warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause, no arrest shall happen, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation of the victim. So back in 1791, you had to have kicked my dog, eat my porridge, stole my horse, and I went down to the president of the police bureau, filled out an oath or affirmation that you violated my rights, and now, Rob, you have probable cause to arrest me.
If there is a victim, there may not necessarily be a victim.
You put a gun to someone's head, you created a victim. You rob somebody, there's a victim. You kick someone's dog, you beat up their wife, there's a victim.
But if you're carrying drugs on your person or in your vehicle, there's not a victim. The state of Florida becomes, or the state you're in becomes the victim.
How do you feel about the war on drugs? And do you arrest people for drugs?
Oh, I have. Yeah, plenty of times. Yes, sir.
What kind of drugs have you arrested for?
Methamphetamine, crack, marijuana. Back in the day, we really don't touch that much unless it's over 20 grams. Which is felony amount. We still arrest for large amounts of marijuana, of course. But crack, cocaine, you name it. All your street drugs, prescriptions that are not yours, not properly in their
How much drugs, Rob? How much drugs? Did you arrest somebody for having a hit of meth in their crack pipe? Did you arrest people for having
Yes, I have.
Why can't you take the drugs, put them under your boot, and crush them?
Well, I wouldn't want to do that because that's not safe for anyone who's a passerby, a child who may come up on that. That's not a proper disposal method for methamphetamine. Crack, cocaine. I mean, this person's So you're saying like what you want is all narcotics to be legal. You want to?
No, I didn't. No. I want to follow the Portugal model. It's 26 years now. They decriminalized drugs. They created space stations for people who did drugs. They packed those space stations with essentially Red Cross workers, and then they could rave and party in these specific locations, unlike they did in Portland, which they saw when they decriminalized all drugs. They were doing drugs at bus stops. So
I was going to say, California.
It's a horrible idea.
Yeah, they're not doing
horrible.
Great.
It's a horrible. It was mostly in Oregon, so where they decriminalized all drugs in Portland. But the Portugal model, they decriminalized, created space stations, brought people in, and they dropped their addiction rate from over 20% to down to 4%. And this is an ongoing experiment. But when you arrest someone for drugs, you are feeding the for-profit prison system of Core Civic and Geo Group. Do you know that?
Well, we don't have a private prison around here. I do know they exist.
They're all private, Rob. Every one of them.
Ours is a state, county, and we have a federal.
Who owns it?
The county.
Okay, but
the county owns ours. As far as our nearest federal prison would be Coleman Prison, which is a federal prison.
But somebody owns those prisons. Someone paid the money to build them. Someone's making a profit from that building. And as a matter of fact, there's even contracts with prisons where if they don't keep a certain capacity, that the state has to pay them or the county has to pay them. What do you think about that?
Well, that's something I'm unfamiliar with. I'll tell you the truth. And I've never worked in a jail, but I do know our jail is ran and owned by the sheriff of the county I work for.
Mm-hmm. What I'll do, Rob, is I'll get some statistics for you and we'll talk about it again a little bit further. Mm-hmm. But what do you think about the resignation loophole? When a cop violates someone's rights, they get a complaint, they beat them up, and then I file a complaint against you because Rob beat me up. And then before I get a chance to have internal affairs investigate it, or you should be charged with the crime, but you don't, then you can resign and keep your pension and just go to the next police department. What do you think about that?
So I have seen the resignation in lieu of being terminated and ultimately having your state certification pulled. I have seen that happen numerous times, and I'll see it a lot more throughout my career.
At your agency?
I've seen it at my agency, but not.
So then you do have bad cops in your agency.
But not in the guys have done some really stupid things. I'll get into that, but not when someone else was harmed. I have never seen that be an alternative when someone else was harmed. I've seen people abuse the pay system. You know, taking on
overtime.
Taking a detail, right? Taking a detail while working their regular scheduled hours with the sheriff's office. So the sheriff's office is paying them, plus whoever the detail is through is also paying them. So it's just double dipping. And obviously you can't be in two places at one time doing two different jobs at one time. And that's been found out. And obviously guys have been, hey, look, you're in internal affairs. Guys have resigned while under investigation. And ultimately they've been able to keep their certifications that way, from what I understand. So,
well, you still didn't answer.
They've done really stupid things. Yeah.
Let me get to the question again. Mm-hmm. Should police be able to resign and the offense not go on their jacket, and then be able to escape investigation and be able to keep their pension? Those are the specific questions I'm trying to get to.
No, not if it's something egregious, like you said. Like if you've beaten someone, you've actually done harm to another person. Absolutely not. I have seen an officer resign, but still the charges were pursued still.
Right. So then you don't believe the resignation loop. So in other words, I'm going to run for governor one day, and when I become governor, I'm going to change the contract between the county, the state, the city, and the police, which says that they are in charge of their own punishment. So
that's what it currently says in California.
It's so screwed, dude. The resignation loophole exists in all 50 states. Where
guys have resigned, but I'm telling you, I've seen guys resign and still those investigations continue on. Guys have had their state certifications pulled.
Really? You know people this has happened to?
Yes.
We never see it, Rob. We see the guy resign and then he gets away with it and he goes, I mean, the cop, I forget his name off the top of my head, who just shot that 1-year-old boy, he'd been to 10 agencies. And then when
that's weird, right?
When the group of the black community members went to the mayor, they said he had a dirty jacket and you know it. But the truth is the mayor may not have known it because of the resignation loophole.
Yeah, the mayor may not have known it. You would still know his employment background, right? It's all federal record. That's
sure that they worked at this agency in 2022, this in 2023, this in 2024. So then you believe the resignation loophole should be changed, and that even if you resign, the investigation should go on and I should be able to get justice.
Yeah, I believe investigations should still continue on and be closed out at the end of the day. Yeah.
I mean, I just wish that it was attached to your peace officer's license, because you say beat up
it
and
is
stuff.
It is in the file. Like, say if that were to happen to me, I made some stupid decision and I'm double dipping and they decided, hey, you're going into internal affairs. And I'm like, all right, I'll just resign. And I go to the neighboring county. I try to get a job there. That investigation's still there. It'll still say resigned under internal affairs. So whenever that other agency sees it, they do have that record. It's not like it just vanishes, it goes away, no one knows about it. It's still a known thing. It's still going to be damn hard for this person to get a job.
And so then they go to another agency and they get a job, which leads me to the next question. Why do you think there's such a shortage of people willing to be police officers today?
Oh man, public opinion's very negative on law enforcement.
Why is that?
Sense of service is no longer there. Pride in the country, patriotism's gone. Why is the first one?
Yeah. Well, why do you? So hold on a minute.
Public trust is gone. Public trust is gone.
And why is that public trust gone?
Man, in many cases, it's brought on by ourselves. It's brought on by bad cops out there that are seen and on the news. Anything. If I go and do something, say I go and I beat up a guy, at the grocery store. We get into a fight, and I decide, today's not the day, and I throw down on this older gentleman in the parking lot. It's not, the headline's not going to say, 40-year-old male beats up 80-year-old male. It's going to say, this county's deputy beats up this 80-year-old male.
80-year-old man resisted arrest.
Well, I'm assuming I'm wearing these clothes, right? I'm just out in the public. I'm not working. If I go and do something, if I set a forest fire, it's going to be deputy does X, Y, and Z. Same thing for firefighters. Firefighter does X, Y, and Z. So the headlines automatically look bad. So every headline that a cop makes that's a bad headline, it's known, it's seen, everyone sees it. Every headline that a cop could have made a positive headline, it's not known, it's not seen. It's kind of like a review. People will jump real quick to give a negative review on anything, say a restaurant or what have you.
Oh yeah.
But how many times do you go on there to see a positive one?
Right. So round of applause for you, Officer Rob, for saying that we bring it upon ourselves. That's true.
We do.
Because a lot of cops blame me because I do get pissed off. I call them dirty fucking pigs, jackboot thug pig. I coined the term JBTP. People put it all over the internet. Right. So I understand that my rhetoric sometimes get ahead of me. And I don't think that every one of you is that way. But I think that here's what I think. When you said you brought it upon yourselves, and that's the reason, and this is the reason why people don't want to be police. I believe this, Officer Rob, it's because your policies, your procedures, and your protocols that you agree to do to people are brutal, inhumane, and barbaric. And when it's caught on camera, regardless if the guy just snatched a purse, smacked a woman, George Floyd, his history, not a good dude, right? But when we see the tactics that the police policy on camera, the actual outcome of it, that's why people don't want to be a cop, in my perspective. What do you say to that?
Well, we'll say policy, procedure, everything. I'll tell you now, if you were to look at my particular agency's policy and procedure, I stand by every one of them. I think we have a great policy and procedure. I don't think that anything we do would make anyone feel unsafe or like we are malicious or anything like that.
Isn't your policy to put people in torture cuffs when you detain them?
Well, we say torture cuffs. I call them handcuffs. They suck. They're uncomfortable, but it's not torture.
You admitted it yourself that they're horrible. They're painful. They hurt everybody. Yeah. So then if that's your policy, why do you stand by it?
They don't necessarily hurt everyone. They do hurt. They're uncomfortable. They're metal. It's metal. It's on your wrist. Like I said, I'm a wider shouldered guy. So if I put on one set of handcuffs, my hands are pulling against that, and it is damn uncomfortable.
It's not just your wrists, Officer Rob. It's also your shoulders and your back. Every second that you're stuck in like this position, every minute you're here, you're going to spend 5 minutes after they're off going, oh my God, my back is kinked.
And they're fucking hard to put on sometimes.
Yeah.
So they're not good for the cops either, really. When we're fighting with somebody, they're only about yay wide, right? And trying to get a guy who's got wide shoulders just to get his wrists together, it just doesn't happen. So a lot of times we have to double them up. It's just not a good tool. It's what we have until something better comes along. But yeah, I wouldn't call them torture cuffs. If I was going to torture somebody, it wouldn't be with those. I promise you that.
Oh,
so
Rob,
you know what I mean?
I'm not.
They're sex toys to some people, right? They're pleasure cuffs to some people.
People who are sadists. Right? Yeah. People who are sadists. This is where I plant my flag in the ground and I say, I stand over here, Rob, because like I said, I'm not going to jump Rob. I vehemently disagree with you. If I could spit on the floor, like I totally disagree with you. Torture cuffs are always torture. And you cannot sit here with me, sir, and say you back up every policy of your police department when your policy is detainment equals cuffs. Is that a fair assessment?
I'm sorry. What was your question exactly?
So what I said was, I completely disagree with you. You said that you stand by every policy of your police department. But if I looked up your police department, it would show that detainment equals you put people in cuffs, as you're going to call them, right?
Yeah.
So how could you
Generally, yeah.
stand by that when you know that the cuffs hurt so badly? And by the way, you're putting me in cuffs because someone called and you're suspicious of me. You know?
Well, we loosen them up. Like I said, we loosen them up. We try to give room. If we arrest someone, and even if they were a piece of shit, they're running from us, whatever, they fought with us. When we get back to the car, he's like, "Hey man, can you loosen them up?" We've done that thousands of times. Literally thousands of times we've loosened them up for people. It's not our desire to make your wrists hurt. That's not what we want to do. I promise you that.
But they do hurt. But they do hurt.
They do, inevitably, just by design. It's not like that's what we're trying to do. I mean, I've had to take, I gave you Baker Acts for an instance, and some of those Baker Acts are juveniles, and I've had to arrest juveniles, right? Detain them, put them in the handcuffs.
Torture cuffs, Rob.
I do them in the front. Hey, they are handcuffs by definition, but I get what you're saying. They're uncomfortable, but I've put them on, teenage girls, no complaints. If that's torture, then your level of torture and mine are different.
Well, so you said yourself that you have to loosen them almost every time because the person, after just a minute or two, they start to cut into the wrists.
Not every time, but we do. We loosen them up for people.
Yeah, they still hurt, but okay. So I got your perspective on it. So then explain to me this ID crack. Why does every cop have to get your ID? What are they training you guys where you got to get ID right now?
Yeah. So the whole purpose of getting identification is to know who you're dealing with. Is this person a violent felon, or they have warrants? Are they a wanted person? Generally, that's what we're trying to determine.
Even if it's a violation of my Fourth Amendment, because Rob, I don't have to give you my ID without probable cause to arrest me. But yet we see people getting detained and they put you in what I call torture cuffs. And then within a few minutes, I'm willing to give you my ID because my wrists are burning. And the cops go and just give me your ID.
So that kind of goes into one of the comments I saw here on your video. Somebody paid money to have the comment about being asked about the right to travel, kind of the whole sovereign citizen thing we get. So to segue back into what you just previously said about taking someone's ID. If I see someone walking down the street, right, they're just walking down the road, they have the right to travel. Yep, absolutely. I cannot ask you for your ID and force you to give that to me. However, if you are driving a motor vehicle down state paid road and I pull you over for whatever my reason may be, I get your ID. That's part of it. That's part of you're operating a motor vehicle on these highways, on these streets.
So then you're for the 1915 case of Hendricks versus Maryland. Then you're antithetical to the Constitution, because the Constitution says we have a right to travel. But then in 1915 in Hendricks versus Maryland, 7 years after the Model T Ford came out, 1908, 7 years later, they then passed that you have to have a license and get registration from the state. So essentially, Rob, you're telling me that you're going against our constitutional right to be able to freely travel because it's a supposedly state-funded road or a federally funded road. Is that what you're telling me?
Yep, that is what I'm telling you. You do have a right to take your horse and buggy, take your horse, take your own 2 feet. Yep.
But you can't drive a car without a sanctioned state driver's license.
That is the law, sir. Yeah.
And so have you arrested people for driving without a driver's license?
Oh yeah. I've arrested people for driving well.
Could you imagine? I mean, Rob,
now, generally, here's the thing. Generally, what I would do is someone with all they have is Dwillis, driving without a license. No, I'm not arresting that person. At the most, what I'm most likely going to do is write them their summons. Hey, it's like a ticket, right? You go talk to the judge, explain why you're driving. The judge makes that determination. A Dwillis arrest, like an arrest charge, is generally going to follow things like possession of narcotics, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, other trafficking, other related felony charges. And it just so happens you are also Dwillis. And that just goes into the booking affidavit.
What's Dwillis mean?
Driving without license suspended, excuse me.
Okay, so I don't know the acronyms. So
that's probably a Florida thing too. So we can.
Then I have it. I have it from you here and now that if someone gets pulled over for simply driving without a license or a suspended license, that you're not going to arrest them. That you're just going to give them tickets or even impound their car, which I don't agree with that either. But at least they're not putting their body in a dungeon.
No, in fact, a lot of times what I've done is not even write the citation. I've said, hey, call somebody up, or your passenger has a good license, let them drive. Not even give the summons.
You've done that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because my buddy Power Inherent to the People, his whole mission is to get rid of this driver's license scam and the registration scam where I got to continue to pay money for this to the state for me to be able to travel freely.
Yeah, no, I listen, vehicle registrations every year, every 2 years, I hate that. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. You paid your taxes, you know, you bought your license plate, you paid for its registration. That should be done. Same thing with your house. Like here in the state of Florida, we're trying to get rid of property taxes. Once
It's
you
a
buy,
scam.
once you bought your fucking house, you should pay the taxes you owe on the only on the number you bought your house for, right? You bought a $200,000 house, you pay the taxes on $200,000, that you're done. There should be no more taxes on that.
I totally, as well as the 16th
Yeah.
Amendment's a scam. So just so you know, and I won't break off into it too far, but this is based on the feudal system. State property tax is really a feudalist system in modern era, because the feudalist system started in the 1300s, even 500, where you would have lords and serfs and vassalates, and you'd live on the land, but essentially you're taxed to live on the land, and then they can always take your house away from you. We created a feudal system here. So are you trained to lie?
No.
Then why are cops lying all the time?
So we're not trained to lie. However, lying is a tool. Let me give you an example. The video you gave of the young man walking down the street. Let's say I know he has a warrant, right? And I'm not the guy I am. Like, I can run. I've chased bad guys and I've caught bad guys. Not every cop is the same physical fitness, right? So he may be lying. Hey, man, I just need to talk to you. Hey, man, just trying to get closer, trying to use that verbal judo, if you will, to get closer, when really he knows he has a warrant. So he's lying, not saying, hey, stop, you have a warrant, because now that guy's going to take off on foot. He's gone. This dude's so fat and out of shape. He's not catching him, and he knows it. So he lies to get a little closer. That's just a tactic. So, yeah, not trained to lie. It's just kind of you're allowed to.
It causes us to distrust you.
Yeah, I'm sure it would. Sure.
When we see cops lying on video after video after video, you know, you're in a passenger seat, but you have to give me your ID. There's a state statute that says you have to give me your ID. And as a constitutional law scholar, I know that's a lie. My whole crowd knows that's a lie, but we see the cop lying on video. Now that cop is disrespected. We don't respect that cop anymore. And it causes a cascade effect.
I'm sorry, what was it the cop was lying about? Asking ID in which scenario?
You go to the passenger side of a car that's pulled over. He says, let me get your ID. And the guy says, I'm a passenger. He goes, doesn't matter. In the state of Florida, you got to give me your ID when you're pulled over. And the guy says, no, I don't. And they says, step out of the car. You're being detained.
So I have done that when they're not wearing their seatbelt. But that gives them their own infraction. If they are not wearing their seatbelt, then, or excuse me, if they are, then you have no reason. They have nothing on them. So I've used that before, and I had a guy who had warrants for 10 years on sell, manufacture, deliver cocaine. Multiple warrants over the course of 10 years. This guy's been on the run, and we got him pulled over, baby mama driving, pull him over, go on the passenger side because my sixth sense was just there. Approached on that passenger side, so I didn't have a seatbelt on, got my identification and everything, and he ended up he actually went to jail as a John Doe. He never gave me his ID. He went to jail as a John Doe. He sat there for a few hours. We finally figured out who he was through his fingerprint. So he had all those warrants for 10 years.
So this leads me so fundamentally I disagree with you getting somebody's ID over a law created for our safety that now criminalizes us. Because if you don't have your seatbelt on and you smack the windshield or you get killed in a car accident, that's not up to the state. That should be between the driver and his insurance company. So
in Florida, you can ride a motorcycle without a helmet.
Right, but you can't
in your car without a seatbelt.
But yet you're using that against us, Rob.
I don't make it. Well, I have to. I mean, the seatbelt I use just because all I wanted to do is ID this guy. I didn't even want to give him a ticket. I just want to ID you. Find out who
so then
you
you're
are.
part of that.
Well, why do I want to find out who he is? Because this guy had all those warrants, and I wouldn't know this guy existed. I wouldn't know who he is had I not done my job.
But what's your job?
It's a tool. I'm using these tools. What is my
What's
job?
your job?
to protect and serve the public in the county that I live in, the people I live in.
Your job is to uphold our rights by enforcing laws that violate other people's rights. If someone wants to do cocaine and that guy's a cocaine dealer, you're not upholding our. No,
that guy should not have gone to jail.
No.
When should he have gone to jail?
When you violate somebody else's rights. Cocaine being illegal is a political thing. We cannot stop cocaine in this country. It's totally political. So we have Mexican drug cartels and we label them Mexican drug cartels, right? Why do we have Mexican drug cartels? Because we've made drugs illegal. If we decriminalize them like Portugal, then we wouldn't have Mexican drug cartels. We wouldn't have cartels at all because you could go down and get cocaine from your local store. But now because
violent warrants.
Yeah, but that's not what you said. You said he was a cocaine dealer.
He was.
Didn't people want that cocaine?
Some people do.
Okay, so did he kill anybody? Did he beat anybody?
People do get killed who work in the cocaine industry. People have family members who are in that world. It's obviously it'll destroy families. It destroys livelihoods.
Who's destroying their family? Is it you or is it the coke dealer?
No, parents selling their children for sex so they can get their cocaine. That's who's destroying their family.
There's so many freaking pedophiles in our government and policing who's the biggest drug dealer in the world?
Pfizer, probably.
DEA. The DEA is an international organization who deals drugs all around the world to fund their paramilitary operations all around the world to overthrow governments. And we've seen it for decades and decades and decades. The number one drug dealer in the world is a cop, the DEA. They deal drugs all over this world. You don't know this?
No.
So to you, it's like a conspiracy theory, what I just said. Like I can see it's paining you. And listen, you can vehemently disagree with me. I'm okay with that.
Okay. Yeah, I have to disagree on that one. I don't know where that one goes to. I can't say I agree with you on that. But I will say that, using these laws, right? I didn't make him not wear his seatbelt. That's just what gives me a reason to write him a citation, get his identification.
That's fucked up, Rob. That's fucked up.
I don't think it's fucked up. I don't think that's fucked up.
And this is why I had you on, so we could have a conversation. What's the law for?
We're going to have a disagreement. We're going to have a disagreement.
No, we're going to disagree. It's how we disagree with each other. Yeah. You know what I mean? Rob's of this and that and this because he thinks that. No. We're just having the talk. So what is the spirit of the law versus the letter of the law?
So the seatbelt law?
Yeah. There's two different fundamental principles here. Yeah. There's the spirit of the law and the letters of the law. These come from a book called Spirit of Laws, published in 1751 by Charles de Montesquieu. So what's the difference, Rob, between the spirit of the law and the letter of the law?
Well, the spirit of the law, the law I used in that given.
Why the law was written?
Was because auto accidents are one of the leading causes of death in the country. So obviously they put a law in that. Hey, you have to wear your seatbelt in a vehicle that's traveling. That's the law. I use that.
What's it for though? The spirit is for what?
For safety.
Right. So I'll be safe. The state made a law to protect me, to protect myself. So I put a seatbelt on, right? So that's the spirit of the law. But what are you using it for?
I used it as what we call a pretext stop. Right. We would call that pretext, right?
Right.
And the vehicle, so I didn't know that the guy wasn't wearing a seatbelt when I initially pulled it over. I ran the license plate on the vehicle. It came back expired. Ultimately ended up getting a traffic stop and saw the passenger wasn't wearing a seatbelt when I got over there. Hey, man, get your identification. He wouldn't give it to me. I said, look, you're not wearing your seatbelt. I end up having to use a tactic that gives a kind of what you'd be familiar with as an arm bar, and got the gentleman out of the vehicle. Everything went down very well, safe, got him to jail, finally got his ID.
So you used violence on somebody, Rob, who the law was created for his safety. Instead of it being the applicable spirit, you then applied it to the letter of the law, which is just squares, square stacks on top of this one. It's illegal. Over the line, dude, mark it 0, right? So then you physically hurt him and pulled him out. Was it a pretextual stop? Did you stop the car just because you knew the passenger was a known drug dealer?
Nope.
So you pulled him over, then you recognized him?
No. So this was just a traffic stop. I wasn't following him. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know anything about this person. I saw the vehicle, just ran the plate. Comes back expired. I follow it a bit, pull it over. We do this little circle around it was a dirt road that kind of had like a driveway where you could just kind of turn around in.
Sure.
Finally, female driver comes to a stop, go on the passenger side. He doesn't have his seatbelt on. Hey, what's your ID? Had he just said, hey, man, this is my name. No problem. Cool. I'm not even going to write him a ticket. We're all done here. I'm not going to write her a ticket. Hey, verbal warning. Your license.
If he
plate
breaks
is
himself
expired,
for
we're
you,
done.
if he breaks himself for you, then you'll let him go. But if he doesn't break himself like a bitch, then
No.
you're going to hurt him and pull him out of the car and arrest him.
Well, asked him to step out of the car. He wouldn't step out of the car. He asked.
Why
him
do I don't want to get out of the car? Because if I get out of the car, you're going to armbar me. And even if I can out wrestle you, I have to let you do it.
He didn't want to get out of the car because he had warrants that are going to send him to prison. That's why he didn't want to get out of the car.
Were those warrants for him beating children? For him
No.
PDFing people?
No.
Those
Well,
warrants
what if
were
they
for.
Would you
If
agree
you're-
with it if they were?
You're going to get me to go way hard right authoritarian when you start talking about PDFing children. I have a much different solution. You take people to an island and you drop them off and you do a food drop once a week. And Lord
I'm
of the
with you,
Flies,
dude.
let them
Dude, I'm
do
with
that. I'm so done with PDFs. I'm so done with it. Just like every billionaire who's on that PDF file. But what I'm trying to get to, Rob, and this is where I hope that I can affect you, sir. I want you to stop doing that. You enforce the spirit of the law, which is the reason the law is written is for what? What's the real simple one that we see violated all the time? Jaywalking. Cops are
I've
arresting
never
people.
seen anyone write that ticket, though. I've never seen anyone write a jaywalking ticket.
I've seen people taken to a dungeon in torture cuffs because they stepped in the road. And I've seen it hundreds and hundreds of times.
I'm assuming what you saw was them resist law enforcement, and then they went to jail over resisting.
If you tell me that you want to stop me because I crossed a road when nobody got hurt, nobody slammed on their brakes and their coffee flew on their windshield, on their dashboard, nothing happened. I simply ran across the road because I don't want to go 100 yards down the road to have to cross. I just ran across. And I've seen it thousands of times, Rob.
Cops want to hunt drugs. They want to hunt warrants. They want to get this bad shit off the street. They want to get illegal guns off the street. That's what proactive cops want. And if it means, hey, I just want to check that ID, see if he's got a warrant. I got to wait for him to do something to violate a law so I can have a reasonable.
So it's a pretext. You're for pretextual stops.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I'm for pretext. If a taillight's out on a vehicle.
Right.
And I pull it over and there's no problems. Nothing's going on. I'm not even going to write the ticket. Say, hey, man, your taillight's out. Maybe you got one in the glove box. I'll help you swap it out. But if there is a problem in the car, that's why I stopped that car. There could be JonBenet Ramsey's bodies in the back. I don't know. But if we don't stop that stuff has happened. You know, bodies have been found on traffic stops.
Yeah, and people have held a camera and tried to shoot cops too. Once a frickin' the man on the moon once in a while that has happened, but it's so frickin' rare, and it's so rare that a guy with a taillight. I've never seen it. It's so far rare that JonBenet Ramsey's in the trunk of a car because it has a taillight. It's just
very rare.
You're taking this much of a thing and saying, oh, just like strip searching in jail. The minimum number I got in jail from every jail guard I asked all of them. I have a journal of it. 1 out of 500 people has something stuffed up their butt. So, but they treat us all. You got to look up everybody's ass because there could be something stuffed up your butt. Because 1 out of 500 people, that was the lowest one. Most people said 1 out of 1,000. I see it once every week, and that's thousands and thousands of people. They look up their butts. So you're applying that. But Rob, I want you to research, and I'll send you the literature. Montesquieu's book, Spirit of Laws, which I transcribed in jail. There's the spirit of the law, and there's the letter of the law. And while you're doing what you're doing, if you're not reading the crowd right now, the crowd is incensed with what you're saying.
Oh, I don't see any of the comments.
No, I'm just letting you know and you can see my dander's up. I'm like, I want to make sure I treat Rob with respect for coming on because I didn't do that with Dominic Izzo, and today he hates me. So I don't want to do that with you, man. I don't want to make the same.
Do I know that name?
He's famous. Dominic Izzo's famous. Yeah. He just talks mad shit about me all the time. And it's because I was rude to him when I had him on. I called him a demon, and I shouldn't have done it.
Why is he famous?
Because he's an ex-cop who now speaks out against policing.
Okay.
He speaks out against.
And you two don't get along?
Oh, I get along with him fine, but he said that he endorsed chokeholds, and I called him a demon. I said that's your demon mentality coming back into your existence.
We don't have chokeholds are not allowed in our agency.
Well, I didn't want to burn the bridge with that guy because we do agree on a lot of things, but I do also get a lot of people who hate me because if I turn on my camera, thousands of people show up, and that's a jealousy thing. So, but it's not the point. The point is, there's the spirit of the law and the letter of law, and you're a smart guy. I've looked at all your page, looked at every video you have. I want you to research it, because you arresting people for not wearing their seatbelt because you want to get their name and try to track them down and pretext you stop them. This is everything we're against, because 68 Terry versus Ohio then creates a foothold for dozens and dozens of cases. And the case you're speaking of is the 1996 case of Wren versus United States, which legalizes pretextual stops. You can stop somebody, but you can say their tail light was out. They didn't use the blinker. They didn't use the blinker 100 yards prior for turning. Now you pulled the person over and you're shaking them down. And now you, Rob, you are that, from our perspective, you are that villain who you're shaking me down because my passenger's not wearing a seatbelt. And now I got to get out. I go in torture cuffs. It creates a society that disrespects and hates cops.
So
and
what,
I don't,
what would you say
I don't want that.
Done? What would you say I should have done in that? What was your perspective on? Let me just check my battery real quick. I'm not plugged.
Go ahead, sir. Take your time.
I'm good. And what would you say the perspective would be, or your perspective? What do you think I should have done in that scenario? Just so I'm understanding.
I think you should do
your guys.
I think pullover should come to an end completely. It should be pull-ups versus pullovers.
What does that mean?
A pull up is where someone doesn't have a blinker or a tail light on. Instead of you pulling behind them, walking up with your hand on your gun, you're afraid because they don't know if you're going to reach for something. You pull up right next to them, roll your window down. Hey, Bubba, your tail light's out. Can you roll your window down? He rolls his window down. Hey, is everything okay? Your tail light's out. Because you said you're not even going to give the girl a ticket anyway, right? So instead of pulling her over and going through that whole horrible process, and I've got 10 videos that I'm not showing you right now that I pre-recorded for this exact session, where cops are going, hey, you know, we don't want to do anything here, but we want to make sure, you know, your tail light's out, right? So, but the cop will tell you in that video, the most dangerous part of a cop's life is when he's walking up to someone after pulling them over. Then let's end that. Let's end it. Let's have you pull up, you pull up next to somebody, roll your window down and go, hey, Bubba, tail light's out. Are you okay? And you can look at someone's face often, and if you're not a rookie, you can tell if someone's on drugs or they're drunk just by looking at their face. Do you know what I mean?
Man, I understand what you're saying. However, I will also add that you don't always have an opportunity to just pull up to somebody. That particular scenario I gave you was a 2-lane road all the way through. But regardless, that's not what we're going to do. That's not what we want to do. I want to stop those vehicles. I want to get those bad guys off the street. That's my goal. I want to get that guy with all those warrants. His ass needs to go to prison for what he's done, or at least face the judge. The judge needs to decide if this guy needs to go to prison or not. He needs to be called before the judge that those warrants were signed for.
Why can't the judge appear on a phone?
Why can't the judge appear on a phone?
Why do you got to put him in torture cuffs? Why can't you say, hey, you missed court. Here's what I'm going to do for you.
Oh,
tomorrow at 9 a.m., noon, and 3 p.m., there's 3 different slots here. Which one do you want? The judge is going to show up on your phone.
Because
why can't we do that?
Resources aren't going there, man. You're talking about a guy who's been running for, like I said, about 10 years. These warrants have existed.
And what good did it do putting him in the jail? Do you think people didn't get their cocaine fixed that day?
Oh, I'm sure. They'll find another source.
You think if I want cocaine and you arrest my drug dealer that I can't find another coke dealer?
Absolutely. But you have to go find another one.
But you have to go find another one. Right. And the coke dealer, I find the next one, he's got fentanyl in his drugs. 1 out of 7 bags of coke has fentanyl in it. And now I'm dead because you arrested my dealer who had real cocaine.
You know what? That's a good public service announcement for everyone out there. Be aware of anything you're getting off the street, man. It's killing everyone. Oh, dude, the fentanyl's
it's horrible. Yeah. So, and why do we have fentanyl?
Cheaper. And a lot of people are chasing it. A lot of people want it.
Because the war on drugs.
It's coming from China.
Yeah, we have fentanyl because of the war on drugs. That's why.
I mean,
without a war on drugs, you get real cocaine that we buy the leaves from Colombia, and we create a really good economic relationship with them. We create space centers. You can do drugs at home. Now we have these space centers where people can go and party, and then you pack it full of Red Cross people. You see someone who's drugged overdose. Hey, man, do you want to get some help? And now,
why did the war on drugs begin?
Because of Richard Nixon in 1971, who declared war on drugs.
Right, but why? There's I mean, it's kind of a rhetorical, right? Drugs are, being Mr. Mackey here, but drugs are bad, okay? They cause a lot of socioeconomic problems within the community. People die from drugs.
Which is the worst drug?
Over drugs. The worst?
Starts with an A.
Oh man, I'd say the worst one I've ever seen, not in person, but results from would be that crocodile that came out of Russia.
Alcohol.
That. Alcohol's bad, man. Yeah, alcohol's bad. I'm not a drinker.
I don't drink alcohol at all. If you get me to have a drink with you, like if I come to Florida and we sit down, I'll drink half a beer with you. And it's good to meet you, Rob. Good to hang out with you, right? But the truth is, right. I'll have a drink. My friend Shane, I had a drink with him last year. I had a drink with my buddy Daniel 2-3 months ago. But what I'm trying to say is alcohol is the sanctioned drug. And people on my channel know I don't drink alcohol because the number one problem we see on video is alcohol. But yet it's sanctioned. So you're not arresting people for having alcohol, but you're arresting people because they have blow because the government has said it's illegal. You literally, and I don't want to insult you, but you literally you're doing the bidding of a government that has an agenda that's paid off by prison groups to criminalize things, to put people in prisons. Don't you know that?
Well, no, I mean, I get what you're saying. I'm not going to dismiss it. We do arrest people on alcohol charges, right? There are laws that do pertain to alcohol. Obviously, we have a whole organization about it, even though it seems like their real purpose is going after the firearm side. But the ATF does have laws on that they particularly enforce.
Should the ATF be abolished?
If you're DUI, I believe there should be regulation on alcohol, tobacco, regulation on firearms in the sense of like going to FFLs and whatnot. But I do not believe
FFLs.
Yeah, I mean,
what's that mean?
To have.
We don't know the acronyms.
It's a federal firearms license dealer.
Right, but that all comes from the 1939 case of Miller, where they created that you have to have licenses and all these things, and they tried to ban shotguns back then in the 1939 case of Miller. So 49 case.
In the sense of the Second Amendment, I'd like to see the ATF abolished from having any sort of jurisdiction over firearm rights.
Well, I mean, there's something
they can't even identify what a firearm is half the damn time.
And so now. So, Rob, for the love of God, man, please research Spirit of Lawz because you're doing it wrong, brother.
I got to disagree with you, man. On the
I want you to protect people, but I don't want you.
Pretext stops are a necessity, man. Pretext stops are a necessity.
Really,
they are.
And then arresting someone for their seatbelt.
That's how I didn't arrest him for the seatbelt. That's not why I arrested.
You arrested him because he resisted.
I knew he was not giving me his ID for a reason. He went all the way to jail, sat there for hours as a John Doe until we got his fingerprint and he was done.
What about getting out of the car? Like you just said, I have it here on my questions. You have to get out of the car in the name of officer safety. Isn't that a scam to get people out of the car?
That's a reason you can do that. That is a law. Yeah.
Isn't it a scam though? I mean, honestly,
I've never used it. I don't think so. I mean, if you have the reason it exists is because your car is like a domain, right? It's kind of like your house. It's an extension of your home. In that, there are plenty of areas to have a concealed firearm or other device that could be of harm to the officer on the stop. And the law has determined it to not be unreasonable to request someone out of their vehicle for safety reasons. That doesn't change anything else about the officer's interaction with that individual. So ordering someone out of the car, I do not think is unconstitutional. I've never done it. I'd never plan to do that.
Well, didn't you order the guy out of the car who you arrested for being a drug dealer or for having warrants?
Yeah, I ordered him out of the car. He wasn't giving me his ID. He wasn't telling me who he is when I had to identify him now because he is now been
because you have probable cause. Sorry, sir. I mean,
yeah, I was just legally within my means to get his license, to get his driver's license. Had he had a seatbelt on, I would have had no damn reason to ask him for his license and demand it from him.
You didn't have a damn reason.
I did with that one. By the law. By the law, I did.
But you're taking the letter of the law versus the spirit of the law. The spirit was created for safety. He wasn't in danger. You could have said you have to wear your seatbelt.
Yep. So I'm going to wrte him a ticket.
Why are you writing him a ticket for his safety?
Why wouldn't I? Because that's why the law exists. That's why we have fines, is to encourage people to obey the law, like speeding, right? Like I said, I had 23 points on my license as a young man, and I was always looking for the cops so that whenever I was speeding, I wouldn't get caught. So I'm always looking, or I'm slowing my ass down. Eventually, like I said, I got my life together and I wasn't doing that anymore.
You just got older. You just got older.
Yeah. Yeah. And in doing so, ultimately, I quit thinking I was, Brian O'Connor in the Fast and Furious and started acting like I was a grown man.
Well, so I know that you may not know the case law, or you may know the case law, but the 2001 case of Atwater versus City of Lago Vista was over a seatbelt. Gail Atwater in Atwater, Texas, was not wearing her seatbelt, and neither were her kids in a small town called Atwater. Officer Turek pulled her over and said, I saw you last week not wearing your seatbelt, so this week I pulled you over. Now I'm going to arrest you to teach you a lesson. And so the Atwater
arrest her for a seatbelt?
Yes. They sued. Atwater's a female's name. I'm sorry, Gail Atwater. So in Lago Vista, I misspoke, for me. Lago Vista is a small community in Texas. She'd been trolling along slowly. Turek was the cop's name. He saw her not wearing her seatbelt, and he told Miss Atwater, I've seen you twice now not wearing your seatbelt, so I'm going to arrest you to teach you a lesson. It goes all the way up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says, no. Any infraction of the law is arrestable. And that's what you're using. And it's only been since 2001.
No. I would never. We can't arrest someone over not wearing your seatbelt.
Yes, you can.
No, I cannot.
Yes, you may not be able to, but you did. You just arrested the guy for not having a seatbelt on.
I arrested him for failure to identify, and that which is called resisting without violence. That's called resisting without violence. Resisting a law enforcement officer in their duties without violence is the misdemeanor. I took him to jail on that because he wouldn't give me his ID. Me knowing what I know, and I will say, like, just to explain further in that stop, it was pretty obvious there was a problem. The female and him were not getting along. She locked up completely. She froze. She knows what's going on with him. I'm reading into all of this. I see this. There's a problem. There's something going on. In fact, he told me, because there's children in the backseat, he said, do not do this in front of the kids. Don't do this in front of the kids. Do what? What are you doing? What are you talking? Now, one thing I didn't do that I wish I had done on that stop was, after I got him secured, was look under the seat. I felt like he had a gun. I never looked, but I felt like he might have had a gun, and he was considering using that gun. That's just my own.
Did he shoot cops previously? Had he shot people
I don't
before?
know. I didn't know him. I just had this bad feeling about the whole situation, and he wouldn't give me his ID.
So, okay. So now I want to talk a little bit about flock surveillance cameras and flock surveillance system. Who in your department, and are flock cameras being utilized in your agency?
Yes.
And who are the cops? Is it you or is it other cops? Which cops are the ones looking through the flock cameras? And is this happening daily? Is this a regular thing?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'd say it's a regular thing. Yeah. I have never accessed flock, but yeah, it's a daily, it's a tool. I mean, it is. And here's the thing, like I told you before when we were talking over the messenger, that it is an awesome tool for law enforcement for finding bad guys, especially in those very rare circumstances of a kidnapping, right? Obviously, you would want to find that guy as soon as possible, find that child as soon as possible. It's also mostly, I'd say it's used mostly for stolen vehicles or finding a suspect. However, I believe, in my mind's eye, looking into the future here, that it is the ultimate super surveillance state. It's a tool of that. And the law enforcement tool that it gives us is essentially the sheep's clothing on the wolf, right? It's the, wow, this is great. This is to protect, it's the safety and security part of it, but you're losing your liberty. Yeah. And we all know how that saying goes.
So you would be willing to get rid of the flock camera system in your police agency?
I would. Yeah. Yeah, I would. It's a great law enforcement tool, but I believe it is 100% the super surveillance state. Yeah.
Bravo, because you're not always going to be a cop.
Well, even if I was, it's still not. It's such a, to me, it's an overreach of power. It is Big Brother like you wouldn't believe.
It absolutely 100%.
It's not just the cameras; it's your vehicle, like we've talked about before.
Yeah, it's an AI tracking center. It's not a license plate reader.
Your AI data centers are super surveillance centers. That's exactly what that is.
That's exactly correct. And let's talk about, and so you're against that. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. So now let's talk about canine dogs and canine dogs biting people. I know that in Florida, they're huge on canine dogs. What do you think about canine dogs attacking people who are not shooting at the police, who are not actively graping children? They don't have hostages. What do you think about that? Because from my perspective, canine dogs should be banned, except for sniff and rescue. And then in the extreme situation where someone's got someone held hostage and we don't want to risk a human's life, so we send the dog in, as tragic it may be that he goes.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not a canine officer. I never would want to be, just because you're married to the dog and it smells bad. But I believe they serve an awesome service. They do serve a great purpose, in finding bad guys. Typically, things like pursuits, people bail out on foot, suspects bail out on foot, run into the woods. We don't know what they have. The dog's able to get in there. And honestly, oftentimes we see it that we have a barricaded subject inside of a house. We let them know, hey, if the canine's going to be turned loose, you don't make yourself known. And that dog starts barking like it barks. I mean, there's a demon that comes out of those things. And that bark, oftentimes is enough for them to get up and walk out. Kind of like the gas. All right. Just that sheer intimidation factor works. So I'm all for the dogs. I think they do a great job. I really
come on, Rob. We're seeing
I've seen them abused. It can be abused. I'm not saying it can't.
We see more abuse than we do good. We see people getting bit because they won't turn around and lay on their belly. You couldn't get me to lay on my belly, bro. Now I'm highly educated in policing, but if I just had my fighting background and you come up to me and tell me to lay on my belly, I'm not laying on my belly and giving you my neck. Like, there's no way. I don't trust you. So now, instead of you saying, okay, then this is going to be a siege, I'm going to sit here and wait until we get enough officers to grab you and put you in the back of a van instead of in a tiny slot in a car. Yep. But then when a dog bites somebody's arm, their arm is ruined for the rest of their life. Don't you know that?
Yeah, sure. Certainly can be.
So then you think that's okay? You think that's justified?
I think that person was given the opportunity to comply. I don't know the details of the scenario you're given, man, but
any scenario where there's nobody been shot, there's no bleeding children, there's nobody kidnapped, there's someone who doesn't want to comply with you, someone doesn't want to get out of their car, and they're sending dogs in to attack people. And we're seeing it over and the canine cop is the most sick, sadistic cop there is. Ironically, I know a canine cop who treats his dog so well. He's doesn't use the dog like that I know of. I don't go on calls with him. But we're not seeing that every day. We're seeing
what kind of dog?
It's a German Shepherd.
It's a full service dog. Full service dog is a bite dog. I would venture to say he has a full service dog.
Yeah, I'm sure the dog does bite people, but that's the point. Yeah. But you have to treat these dogs so harshly, and so the discipline has to be so rigid that you often hear these cops yelling German commands, at the dogs, and the dogs are biting people. Listen, when I'm governor, I'm going to ban the canine dog, except for extreme situations where there is a guy with a hostage in a house, and they got a guy hostage, and I understand that, and the dog could get shot.
Yeah, we don't send dogs into a hostage situation. That's where guys like me and my team come in.
SWAT.
Yep.
Have you shot anybody before?
Yeah.
Have you killed very many people? How many people have you killed?
I don't want to get into it, man.
But you have shot people and things have changed forever for that person?
Yeah. Yeah, they changed forever. I think about it,
Do you go to therapy and counseling for shooting people?
No.
Who do you talk to about your feelings after you've shot somebody?
Oh, yeah. So I had to take some time off. I was, as mandated, and you have to see a psychologist who basically just releases you. I talked to him for about, honestly, it was less than 5 minutes. It was a pretty worthless conversation, but yeah, that happened. Things happen. Man. That's what we have to do.
Do you know that police experience the highest amount of PTSD post-retirement than any other career in America?
I do. Yeah. We don't survive typically at 6 years after retirement. We die.
Yeah. And a lot of them themselves.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah.
Are you open to receiving therapy for what you have done while you're a police officer?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I will say I don't feel like I need therapy. It's for me, being a Christian, I think did I send that man to hell? Was he right with the Lord? I think about who would he be today? Who would he vote for? Who is this person I killed? I didn't know him. He was attacking me. Okay, I'll say that.
Right.
He had 2 lethal weapons, and I had mine. So it is what it is.
Listen, guy pulls a gun out at you and starts shooting at you, man. I don't live in a bubble here. Okay, like I said, there's going to be some people have to be taken out. But and the series of questions that I asked you here is based on that. What we're seeing, and I follow a guy called After the Uniform. I follow Millionaire Cop. I follow several former police officers. But what we're seeing is that so much stress and PTSD and pressure stacks up on you, Rob. Even people talking shit about you in this chat here, which these things affect you. Yeah. You shooting somebody, putting someone in torture cuffs and having them cry, please, these are hurting me. And then, and I didn't get to say it earlier, the great big lie is that, I can get a finger in there. It's such a lie. Your wrists are not shaped in an oval. Anyway, the point is.
Right, we talked about that,
if you don't get, this is a lie. If you say I can get a finger in there, they taught you a lie. I've been doing this 20 years.
Well, they're still uncomfortable. Yeah.
It's miserable. So what I'm trying to say, Rob, is that, here's a good one for you, Rob. I like Rob. There you go. So, and I haven't put the derogatory comments on screen. So,
they can. That's so cool, man.
I'm not trying to jump you, man. I want to have this conversation with more than one cop. And I have been a very divisive and rightly so. I'm justified in what I've done. But at the same time, it's not going to bring us to a solution where I can introduce a new strap that goes over the front, pulls tight, Velcros around. And now like this, I'm not incapacitated, but then you can take the hands, put them on the waist and wrap it around. And now my hands are down by my waistline. But the point is, you see so many police officers who are killing themselves when they're done becoming a cop. You see so many police officers who are beating on people. You guys have to have some sort of therapy outlet, or it just makes you a worse person, a worse cop.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I'm saying?
One thing real quick.
I know we got to go soon.
No, I got a zip tie example over here. I'll grab it real quick. I'll be right back.
Go ahead. Zip ties are torture. Zip ties are absolutely torture. I agree with you there, Brandon. I agree with you there. We haven't had one yet.
Yeah, so this is what we use on the SWAT team generally. We carry these on our kit, our vests, whatever, and they're zip ties. That's it. Right,
but they're not designed to detain you from the front.
No, you can. You could still detain in the front, but it's just a softer. It's quick. It's something. It's lightweight. We can carry multiple of these. I'm just showing you something that we do use. But
no, the one I designed is made out of cloth and it has a male-female Velcro on each side. It has a tracking device in it because once I get it, and then there's levels to detainment. So you come up and people are arguing and fighting. You put that one strap over one wrist and say, you've been detained. And now the judge knows I've asked you to calm down. If I got to put both your wrists together and wrap you around, that's another level of detainment. And then if I got to strap your wrists to your midsection, that's another level of detainment. But right now the only option is turn around, put your hands behind your back, or get on the ground. So thank you for being open to. So you're open to more therapy, and I listen. I use the word therapy, but really it's just finding someone you can talk to dump all your problems out on.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to therapy, like I said, and given all other situations I've had to be a part of, there's therapy sessions that they mandate that we do, but it's not like an ongoing thing. Like I don't see a therapist or anything like that. I've just never been asked that question, publicly. But anyway,
Rob, you're shooting people. You're shooting people. You need to, bro. I told you, man. When I talked on DM, we started off "fuck you, no fuck you." I don't hate you, man. The perspectives you have, I think, are melded into you, but if you don't get some sort of outside perspective and outside, just to get it off your chest, it'll make you a worse person over time. It'll make you a worse person over time.
Right.
And
for your listener, he asked, there's a tab in there. You can, just like any zip tie, there's actually a tab inside. You could lift that up and move the strap out.
And just so you know, though, those are still painful. those still dig into my wrists. Those still dig in right here.
They can.
And it hurts.
Tight. Yeah, if you make them tight, they can.
And it cuts me open.
Like that's not too bad.
Yeah.
But anyway,
couple more questions and I'll let you go. I just have a couple.
One thing I'd like to just say, just to get it out, for guys who are in the comments and all that, I would say, if you've never done this job, I'm not saying you got to go through the academy and go do it, but go get some force-on-force training. Train with someone who's putting you in scenario-based situations with these tools, with the understanding you have of law enforcement, and try to get through those scenarios in a way that you survive, bad guy survives, everyone goes home in the best way possible, how that scenario plays out. Go get that kind of training. Go see what it's like, because a lot of people think they know what it's like or how they would handle a situation until they're in it. So I highly recommend that. Yeah.
We're seeing that in some jujitsu dojos around the country. They're taking a rubber gun and they're throwing it on the ground, and then two guys they're both fighting to see who's going to get the gun. You know what I mean? I really want to do it, but I'm afraid I'll knock my teeth out if I go all out. I know the next fist fight I get into, I'm going to lose my teeth. You know, I know, you know what I mean? Because I'm 50 and I've had a lot of dental work. So I know that that'll happen. So just a couple more questions. Have you ever witnessed a cop violate somebody else's rights in front of you?
Man, I'm sure I have. You know.
And did you do anything about it?
You know, if I can't think of the scenario in which I have, but you know, if anything, violating civil rights would be, you know, like the traffic stop I told you about during COVID. And I said, hey man, that's not what we're doing. We're not stopping people just because they're traveling on an empty highway, going from one place to the next and telling them there's a curfew. But I can't think of a time when someone did, but I'm sure it's happened. You know, cops make bad decisions, man. Like mechanics make bad decisions, doctors make bad decisions, people die. You know, it's no one's perfect, and obviously I'm kind of stating the obvious here. I'm not trying to give a pass, but it's the world we live in.
Have you seen the new detainment technique that they're teaching, where you post somebody's head on the ground and then you put your body in plank position with both of your hands on their head?
No. Like you're laying on top of them with your hands on their head?
They're down on the ground. Other cops are on them, and you put both your hands on your skull, and then you straighten your arms into push-up position while your toes are back. Have you seen this? They're teaching this now.
I've not heard of that.
They're teaching it.
What are they calling this?
I don't know. They call it detainment, and they say, oh, you can have up to 550 pounds of pressure on your skull and it's not going to crack your skull. Well, what if another cop puts his arms on the guy's back? And what if that person's skull has already been cracked before? There's all these questions. It's sick shit.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I'm surprised they're pushing something like that. I've never heard of it, but.
Last question.
Yes,
the real battle right now is for our body camera footage that we pay for. I propose that a third-party agency is created, and there's actually two parts to this question. A third-party agency is created that gets all the body camera, all the dash cam, all the helmet cam. It should all go to a third-party agency, and it should be released upon request. That third-party agency should be funded by our tax dollars, and we should immediately get access to that body camera footage without question. What's your position on it?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. Aside from things like, you know, protecting innocent identities of people.
Sure.
A lot of times, you know, things have to be redacted.
Yeah.
But I would say there probably is a third party, and that would be Axon, who is the primary body camera, you know. And I will tell you right now, man, if you're not invested with Axon, I'm not a stock market guy, but I talked about it years ago. Holy shit, I'd be a rich man if I
know it.
Axon's trying to get body cameras on everyone. They want everyone to have a body camera. Fucking Walmart employees have body cameras from Axon now.
Is that right?
Yeah, they do.
I think they're owned
not all
by,
of them. Some of them.
They're owned by BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard. They own the majority of Axon stock, I think. Well, I know it's Core Civic and Geo Group. That's true. And so then with the third-party agency, of course, they would redact kids' faces, social security numbers, driver's license numbers, things like that. People's houses.
I agree with it. I agree with it. Yeah. Law enforcement actions should be public information.
Immediately. My email address is can'tgetbodycam@gmail.com, and it's packed. I can't keep up with all the emails I get from people. Should there be a third-party prosecutor for police who are accused of violating people's rights?
Should there be a third-party prosecutor? A prosecutor is I mean, that's a federal position. That's an appointed position. So I wouldn't say there should be a company. Or what do you mean by third party exactly?
So what we see here, and the worst case with me was McWhorter in Colorado, where they pulled the guy out of the car and shot him in the parking lot of his little brother's school or little sister's school, and McWhorter was murdered on camera, and the DA declined to press charges. Should it be up to the district attorney in Colorado, or should there be a third-party agency that has its own group of prosecutors that specifically look into allegations of violations of rights by police?
Well, I believe if you have a bias in the law, like an obvious bias, it would go to the Supreme Court at some point. I believe these cases, they get appealed. I don't know how to answer that question, to tell you the truth, because it's kind of case specific. We see a lot of Casey Anthony. We see a lot of outcomes in court that we don't like. That obviously may be one of them. I don't know the details of the case. I don't know why they chose to go the way they went, but the court ultimately had the say so there.
So let's say, Rob, let's say you punch somebody in the head. Okay.
Yep.
And that person believes that their rights have been violated. Okay. And we watch the camera and doesn't look good for you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now that goes currently the DA of your county who's elected, or prosecutor, they then decide if they're going to press charges against you, but cops and prosecutors work together day in and day out, don't they?
Man, a lot of times it feels like sometimes we work against each other, but it's hard to get through the state attorney's office sometimes. They're great people.
They're great people, you said. Yeah, this crowd would not agree with you. The prosecutors are great people. DAs are great people. This crowd would not agree with you. But what I'm saying to you is, why should someone who you work with day in and day out be the arbitrator of whether or not there should be a criminal case against you, is what I'm trying to say. I believe there should be a third party created that's tax funded, retired prosecutors, retired DAs, power lawyers, super lawyers, who then work as a prosecutor to take a look at the case where Rob punched somebody in the head. It's clear as day. The guy said, "Get out of my house." He said, F you, Rob punched him in the head. But now it goes to the DA's office, who you work with day in and day out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there should be a third party that takes a look at police complaints of civil rights violations?
It sounds like a group like that would also be easily manipulated as well. If you're saying that the court system is manipulated to favor law enforcement, it sounds like a bunch of retired people would also be just as manipulated as the current.
So you think that a third party prosecutor to take a look into allegations of civil rights violations, you think that would be compromised more than the DA looking at it?
I think they could be just as compromised as anyone else. I don't think it would necessarily resolve the problem, because what if they have the same findings? Is that going to be enough, or should it be a 4?
Well, right now there's do you know about the grand jury, how the grand jury works? They assemble a group of people. Different states have different numbers. Some is 4, some is 8, some is 10, whatever it is. Right.
Yeah.
And then the only evidence that's presented is from the DA. So if Rob punches me in the head, it's on video that he violated my rights. It goes to the DA, and the DA said, "Hey, Rob was afraid for his life. Do you think he should get prosecuted for this?" And the grand jury says, "Nope."
Yeah. They lay out the facts, findings, and.
But they don't lay out all the facts and findings, because they work with you every day, and that prosecutor likes you.
But who's the jury?
It's a grand jury. It's secret. We don't get to know who they are.
But who are they, though? Like
the grand jury?
Are they citizens?
Yeah, it's people who signed up for jury duty.
So it's your everyday citizen that's your jury.
But what you don't understand, Rob, is that, and I'm sorry for interrupting you, sir.
That's what I mean by who. It's the people. The people are that jury. They make that determination.
No. So let me explain to you a little clearer. The DA is the one who presents the case against you.
Right.
And the facts that are relevant may not be presented in full, because you work with that DA all the time, and he likes you, Rob, because you're a likable guy. Once you get to talk to you, you got some perspectives here that I don't agree with. But as far as you're fine, right? As far as a human being. So if you're not espousing your principles and you just talk to you on a regular man-to-man basis, you get along with you pretty easily. So that DA now is presented with a case, but he's biased. He likes you. He's seen you 20 times. Why shouldn't there be a third party that takes a look at that case that doesn't know you?
I don't know, man. That's where we get into. I don't think a case like that would even go to the grand jury. That would be something that gets handled, in house with the agency, with local court. So I don't even see how a case like that would go to the grand jury to begin with. Honestly,
there's a video of you punching me in the head. That's how it goes to a grand jury. You remember the cop who walked up to the guy with the dog in his car and he punched the guy right into his window? He had a great big dog in his car, and the guy was wearing a yellow safety vest.
Okay.
And the cop who was off duty punched him in the head.
Okay.
And then the cop totally got away with it.
Okay.
Because they didn't prosecute him properly. And that's what I'm trying to say. I believe there should be a third party that gets all police complaints, that they decide, they hold the grand jury, they determine if there should be a prosecutorial case against that cop. That's what I'm trying to say.
It sounds like there should be so when you go to grand jury, like you said, it's the federal government presents the case and that's it.
No, not the grand jury, it's state government. California, right. Iowa, Texas. If you beat me up, Rob, and it's on camera, and I file a complaint against you, the same DA you work with is the one who's going to determine if there's going to be charges against you. And I vehemently disagree with it. There should be a third-party agency. What do you think about my idea?
I believe there should be another side of the argument with another attorney from the victim's perspective to speak.
But there's not currently.
Right. That's the way the grand jury works.
That's the scam. That's the scam. Anyway, I've had you for 3 hours. I'll let you go. Is there anything else that you want to say or talk about while I have you here, sir?
No, man. I think I had a thought, but it's we moved on from it. It's all good.
No, that's okay. Well, I mean, we could take a second because it's like any questions the crowd wants to ask Rob before we cut him loose. If anybody, because we've been on for almost 3 hours here, and Rob, I appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no
I
worries,
hope I
man.
wasn't disrespectful to you.
No, not at all. Obviously, we're going to have differences. If we didn't, it wouldn't be a conversation. I would just say, for the other guys out there, go get that force on force training, see what it's like a little bit before you make too many decisions, and understand when you see these videos online, just get the full context. Sometimes there's a lot more to it than you realize. So wait for the smoke to settle and find out the details of what those cops were dealing with.
Gotcha. Okay, Rob. Everybody, thanks, Rob, for coming. Say thank you, please. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate you coming, brother. I'll see you on DM. If you want to come back when you get a ring light, I think people would see your face. They won't. Yeah. I mean, your eyes are all black, bro.
I would definitely do it again, man. It's not bad.
And come up with anything you want to talk about, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
Later, brother.
See you.
Okay, so there that is. Was there anything I didn't ask him that you guys wanted me to ask him? Roger Lane, thank you. And by the way, a bunch of super chats came in. I didn't want to stop and shout, you know what I mean? I didn't want to get too distracted because it was really hard to stay focused on this because Rob said a lot of things that I vehemently disagree with. But as you guys know, I'm a pretty passionate person about these things, and I just completely disagree with a lot of Rob's perspectives. But if we don't talk about them out loud, yeah, that's the one I didn't get. Did Rob ever lie on a police report? I have it here and I didn't ask it. I'm so sorry. So let's make a list on the community tab. If you guys want to put it on the community tab, that would be great. No more narrative. Thanks for the case law that you're putting up. I really appreciate it. I'd like to read that. Email that to me. John Lunn is here. Thank you, John Lunn. I appreciate it. Yeah, and I didn't put up your comments where you guys said, listen, you guys know my position. Before I went to the dungeon, I used to think ACAB, all cops are bastards. After I went to the dungeon and there were some jail guards that looked out for me, I really changed my perspective because there were guards who watched my back and took care of me and made sure that I was safe. And really, how they say the commoners will say, police keep us safe. They really don't. It's not their job to keep us safe. I didn't ask that question either. But there were some jail guards who did keep me safe, literally, from the other inmates and from the other guards. So that changed my perspective. And then getting out and talking to Detective Matt Thornton and understanding he's never put anybody in handcuffs in his whole life really made my perspective kind of change. He said, you got to put yourself in that position. Not until we change the policies, procedures, and protocols. You show me one good cop and I'll show you a liar. The DAs are biased. Let me show you guys the video that I'm talking about. It was it was McWhorter. It was in Colorado. Let me show you this video. This video right here is the one McWhorter shot by police. School. Let me see if it pops up like that. This one right here, it's only 2 minutes. So this is the video that absolutely...
It feels like foreshadowing.
I'm a little nervous because I don't like cops.
Seconds after he says that, Richard Ward would be on the ground with 3 gunshot wounds to the chest. But let's back up and explain how we get there.
10-4, I'm in contact.
How Richard ends up dead in the pickup line outside of a Pueblo middle school. His family says they were there to pick up his younger brother when Richard got out of the car to smoke a cigarette and stretch his legs. Investigators say when he went to return to his mother's car, he accidentally got into another car, realized his mistake, and walked back to his mother's car. Someone called the cops, and Pueblo deputy Charles McWhorter talks to Richard in the back seat.
What's going on? Wow, calling cops for me just looking for my little brother, huh?
You can tell he's uncomfortable.
Why are you touching my arm, bro? Let go.
Why are you acting like this?
I'm a little nervous because I don't like cops.
Why?
I have a anxiety. They've done things to me.
What have they done to you?
I mean, stop resisting when you're not resisting.
McWhorter wants to know why he got in that other car.
I just want to hear your side of the story, man.
Oh, you're telling me, dude, I straight up thought that was my car. That's all it was.
Are you under the influence of anything?
No.
Okay. You have an ID with you?
Do
you have any weapons?
This is where things escalate.
Do you have any weapons?
I don't think so. I had a pocket.
You don't think so? Don't pull them out.
Richard says he has anxiety. Ward's lawyer says he takes anxiety meds.
Would you just stick in your mouth?
Pill. What's a pill? Let me check.
Get out. Get out. Get out.
About 20 seconds after McWhorter takes him to the ground,
Stop resisting, bro. Stop.
3 shots. The struggle stops. The deputies back away. An unarmed Richard Ward never gets back up. The deputy who shot him explains what happened as kids with backpacks walk by in the background.
You all right?
Yeah, are you?
I buttered my nose and then tried grabbing at my stuff.
No one leaning in to check on him for another 3 minutes when firefighters get there.
This video made me so angry I can't even begin to tell you.
Thanks for watching.
Can't even tell you how angry this video made me.
I'm in contact with it. Looks like it's going to be in the backseat of the white Lexus. It's going to be called. What's going on?
Wow, calling cops for me just looking for my little brother, huh?
Absolutely.
Cool.
So,
Yeah,
so
just
what's the
looking
deal?
for my little brother.
Okay. Who's the little brother?
Eddie's, Chase Ward.
Okay. Forgot who the little brother was?
No.
All right.
No, I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you, man.
Okay.
Why are you touching my arm, bro? Let go.
Why are you acting like this?
I'm a little nervous because I don't like cops.
Why?
I have a anxiety. They've done things to me.
What have they done to you?
I mean, stop resisting when you're not resisting.
Was that PD or us?
Who knows?
Because we're different, right?
No, you're worse.
I don't know.
They're worse.
That's all. I mean, I'm not just trying to distract you, nothing, but it's just like I'm just a normal guy, just trying to get my brother. You know.
You said we treat you what?
I
don't know. I don't even know who you are.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Right.
This is outright murder.
So.
Who did I do? I mean, who did I just disrupt by trying to get my brother?
Well, they said that you were going around trying to mess with doors and open up
Mess
cars.
with, no, dude, the fucking car looked. I thought. Oh my
So
God.
what'd you do? I just want to hear your side of the story, man.
Oh, you're telling me, dude, I straight up thought that was my car. That's all it was.
You thought it was your car
Yeah.
over here, and you were looking for your brother, but not
Well, I
quite
mean,
sure.
I straight up thought that was my car.
Once again, I teach you guys to plead the fifth, and this is the reason why, because he's explaining he was getting in a different white car. He was looking for his brother, and the cop is twisting his words all around.
Okay.
I seen the
And
people
what
in
car
there.
was it?
I thought it was my mom. I was yelling at her. I thought because I knew she was in there. I don't even know that lady.
Yeah, I know. That's what she was freaking out about, right?
Hey, but she was like, but when she started driving, I was like, oh man, and I was
You
and
got
I
in
was
the wrong
thinking,
car.
I'm sorry. I was like, I did not,
Yeah.
and yeah. That
Little
was,
kids walking everywhere.
Okay. Are you under the influence of anything?
No.
Okay. You have an ID with you?
And
Do you have any weapons?
He doesn't have to give ID.
Do you have any weapons?
I don't think so. I had a pocket.
You don't think so? Don't pull them out. Would you just stick in your mouth?
He took a relaxing pill. He has prescribed medication for anxiety. He went to take the pill.
What did you stick in your mouth? You didn't fucking pill. There's a pill. Let me go. Get up. Get up. Get up. Get up. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back, bro. Stop. 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 Stop resisting, bro. Stop. Shots fired. Shots fired.
Shot him.
Shots fired.
Okay, so they didn't show the actual murder, but did I say Mick Warder? I think that's the name of but this guy was outright murdered, and the DA declined to press charges. And that's what I'm talking about, Roger Lane. That's what I'm talking about, Hillbilly. That's what I'm talking about, Gio, Jennifer Hill. I'm talking about there should be a third party that prosecutes those cases. There's no way the DA should have been in charge of this case because this cop works with the DA day in and day out. And that's what should have done. Yeah. Rob and I vehemently disagree on a lot of things. But I believe that having the talk will affect Rob a little bit. So this was the case I was talking about with him, where a third party should come in and prosecute this. It should not be the DA's office that works with the cops week in and week out. That's what I'm talking about. Super grateful. I saw First Amendment Protection Agency came in. I saw Here's the Deal came in. I didn't get to see everybody, but I was trying to keep up with all the comments. You guys make sure you're subscribed. Hit the subscribe button. Double tap the like button if you would. Hit that like button. For everybody who came, I'm very grateful. Thank you. I have enjoyed using StreamYard again. It's like it's cool because you can stream in both horizontal and vertical. And I don't know of how many people are joining, but I was able to stream for an hour on Instagram as well, which is really great. So anyway, I've been here. I got to pee and take my dog for a walk. Super grateful. Thanks, Raj. Thanks, Johnny at First Amendment for the super chats. Thanks, Jennifer Hill. Thanks, Danelle. Thank you, Power Inherent to the people. There used to be a place on here where I could see all of the super chats and I could literally thank every one of them. I just don't know where it is anymore. It's on here somewhere. I will find it. But you guys know, I do still have the GoFundMe up. I paid $5,000. I put that short out. So we're almost done with that. I got to get to 11,200. I got a phone call with a friend on Monday and I may be able to raise that other $6,000 with a friend on Monday. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Anyway, anybody else have anything to say before I cut this off? You're welcome, John Lund. Thanks, you guys. Remember, plaques are 20% off, but I'm going to change the whole thing tomorrow. I'm going to change the whole pricing structure so there's no coupon necessary at all. Thanks, Denise, for coming. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming. Really appreciate it. Tron, thanks for coming by, brother. Eric, thank you for coming. Bob, Glenn, John Doe. I got to get the flock out of here. Greg, Mikey, Bruce, Let's OTBO. Cope Doggy Dog. Luna Lover. Thanks, brother. Good to see you, man. Good to see everybody. Oh, is that right? Is that an insult? Oh, I'm sorry you insulted me. That's okay, though. That's okay. Small Miracle Garages. I can take it. Stomper. Love you guys. I got to get the flock out of here. Thanks for my TED Talk. I'll see you guys on the next one. Mikey B, CEO of my time. Russell Scarborough. Later, Gators.